So, it's not Shazam. I've disconnected the account. So, you know how I said I was going to plan all the D&D over my holiday in Cornwall? I lied. Aaron's a DM. He knows the score. Hello. Greetings from the planet Zool. Might be a combination of me talking plus other people talking because my headphones are kind of leaky. So when I'm talking, my mic is picking me up, but it's also picking up the sound coming out of my headphones. So it's only happening when people are talking simultaneously with me. Well, I'm not broadcasting my sound on the stream, so I beat. Yes, I am.
Hello, everybody! Hi, it's me, Aaron, the DM. Hello. We're coming back after like a month for the 4th episode, right? Fourth episode?
I believe. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yes,
maybe.
yes,
Fourth?
Something like that.
Fourth episode. Fourth episode of Dungeons and Demigods. Hi. As you can tell, we're not rusty at all. We have not gotten tired or
Callie,
sad.
right?
Yeah, you're Callie.
Yeah,
I think
you're Callie.
Ben is
I'm
playing
Maya.
Adeline.
I'm
Yeah.
V, I think. Yeah.
My name's Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 Lukes.
There's 2.
I'm Addie.
Okay.
No, there's 2 Lukes.
Yeah.
Let's just have 2 Lukes. It'll be great.
So, just to keep you caught up with who you're playing with, we're going to start with your wonderful channel host, Ababa.
Everybody, I'm Hannah Schooner or later on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, and I'm very excited to be here. I play Adeline.
Yo, I'm Aaron, Obsidian Olive everywhere. I'm the DM. Also, I belong to another network called The Show is a Mimic, where there are several cast members on the show. You should go check us out sometime. There you go, Birdie.
And as always, I'm Bertie, your dungeon. Wait, no, sorry, wrong show. I'm Bertie the Bard on TikTok and all of the social media, namely Twitter. I'm the regular dungeon master on This Show is a Mimic for our main Sorodin campaign. That'll be going live tomorrow night with our Bioshock campaign, DM'd by the amazing
we're
Gordon
playing
Ray.
Bioshock
Come
tomorrow.
give us a watch.
Heck yes.
Val.
Callie.
Oh, what up? I'm 3 raccoons in a trench coat pretending to be a bear, also known as Val. I'm the Nerdy Niffler on Twitter and TikTok, and I'm also part of a D&D actual play podcast called Tankers and Treasures. Peace out!
That was amazing.
Benethan.
Beautiful. Val. Hello, I am Ben, also known as Ben Does D&D on all of the things. I'm drinking from a Lego cup. Psych, it's empty. I.
Hashtag
This is a
Hydro
roller
Homies.
coaster.
Dirty.
This is a roller coaster of emotions we're going on with Bender's
Master of illusions, right there.
Wait a second. I apologize for interrupting
Betrayal.
someone's introduction. Who has water?
Me.
Who has water? Raise your water.
I have-
Full stream?
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
3 different water bottles in my bed.
If you don't have water after your introduction, go get water.
Okay.
That includes you, the audience. Go get water.
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, yeah, you can find me as Ben Does D&D on TikTok. On Twitch, I am part of the Show as a Mimic stream, which happens on many different days.
Fridays and Saturdays.
But yeah, that's me, and I play Luke. That's me.
Hi, I'm Bunny. I am Chaotic Bunny on all of my socials. I play Maya, and I am also a part of Twitch stream, Fish Whiskey Live. We play modern D&D. It's D&D, but in a modern setting where we all go to college in LA.
As someone who's going to college and is in LA, that sounds like a nightmare.
It is. So much drama.
Okay, and then rounding us off, I'm Abby. I play V in the podcast. You can find me at clueless_DM on TikTok and other assorted places. And I'm in a podcast that hasn't streamed yet, but should be in a month or 2. Dungeons Lacking Dudes. That's it.
I'm so excited for Dungeons and
Also,
Lacking Dudes.
I
Everything I've heard
forgot-
about is great.
Aaron,
I'm so
What's up,
sorry.
Aaron?
I'm also in a collaborative Twitch stream called The Paper Dungeon, and I love it so much, and I love my character, and we stream Mondays at 7 p.m. CST, so check that out if you can.
That's pretty dope. Everyone should go give all of the projects we've listed a proper listen at
All
the
of
same
them.
time. You just press play on
At the
all
same
of them
time.
and pay attention simultaneously.
It's like
And
that
put them all
TikTok
at
sound
different
where it's like
speeds so
all
that
of
you
the
can-
Hamilton songs at the same time.
And so
actually,
you
uh,
differentiate, you have to play them at different speeds.
Yeah, for Shazam, you do that at normal speed. For like Paper Dungeon, that's half speed. Let's see here. Dungeons Lacking Dude, 3/4 speed. You know, you gotta have them all going.
Woodside.
No, Dungeons
Woodside,
Lacking
2
Dude
times
is
speed.
2
Times
times
3.
speed.
Oh, okay.
Times 3.
All right. So, besides our introductions, we can just kind of go over what happened last time for everyone who wasn't here. I'm just gonna go ahead and recap the last 3 sessions because it's been a month. We might as well. We have a group of 6, though most of them didn't know it, demigods. And demigods, all children of the gods, set in the Percy Jackson universe. Of course, I've taken some liberties because I am a dungeon master. Well, it's a person, so when a god and a person love each other very much.
No, that's not Twitch safe.
Okay. No.
That's not Twitch safe.
Thank you, Birdie. I appreciate
TOS,
it.
hello?
So, these 6 demigods, some of them on their own, some of them traveling together, found their way to New York for varying reasons, and ended up, through seeming coincidence, meeting up in the middle of a monster attack in downtown New York, where they fought a monster they now know to be the Lamia. And as they were running to escape this fearsome woman, they got to know each other, really becoming friends in that short period of time, being chased by monsters all the way to the borders of Camp Half-Blood, where they found themselves introduced to Mr. D, a literal god, and Chiron, the camp counselor, who is a centaur, which freaked most of them out when they found that out. These kids, each of which has already been named because the introductions and everything, have had a not hard time adjusting to what's going on, but definitely an odd time adjusting to being at camp. They've been here for less than a day. They slept. Some of them have been claimed. We know that the twins, Callie and Cadmus, are the twin children of Hades. We know that upon entrance to camp, Adeline is our resident child of Aphrodite. And as of the end of session 2, we knew that Mr. Ben, Luke, is a child of Zeus. 2 more remain unclaimed. And we had some moments of them going around camp, making friends and enemies. But we ended off last session as our Hades twins had kind of brought themselves, Addie and Luke, into the Hades cabin to try and experience what it would be like to live in a place designed for Hades kids, to kind of take up their heritage and try to imagine being part of a bigger family. But as this very emotional scene of them deciding that maybe the Hades cabin isn't so bad is going on, 2 of our adventurers, a Maya, a small, is she 12 or 13, Bonnie? I forget.
She's 13.
13. A small 13-year-old blonde child with a little bit distant look in her eyes. And V, I don't know how to describe V other than just a mess that is somehow still walking.
Excuse me.
She can make caramel macchiatos appear for Addie, so, like, awesome. Stamp of approval.
Yeah. And V have taken up seats outside of the Hades cabin, keeping watch for anyone who might be coming. Maya doodling in her journal, and V taking the absent-minded sip out of her flask.
It's empty.
Who said you had 1 flask?
You are so right.
I'm pretty sure on your equipment sheet you have like 3 flasks, a thermos, and 2 big-ass wine bottles. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that is
armor
true.
class comes from,
That
right?
is
It's
true.
just
I do have 3
flasks.
flasks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that she's so drunk that she's completely numb to all the damage she takes.
No,
it's just
she
the inside
hasn't
of
drank
her-
since
she's
this
got
morning.
a metal-lined armor. It's like brigandine.
Armor of Agathis, but it's armor of alcohol.
Now I'm going to give
Armor
the
of
2 of you
wine.
Armor of flasks.
a quiet moment to yourselves. What are you doing in this time, Maya and V?
Well, Maya's kind of finishing up the last little bit of her sketch. She's kind of just gonna look at it. Does Maya see kind of the back of
Oh,
Hang
I
on.
just remembered. Okay, I've remembered. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Maya see kind of
Yes.
they kind of have her back facing Maya?
Yes. So where you're currently sat, V is sitting alone on a hill, maybe 5 feet in front of Maya, who has her back pressed up against a tree. And Maya looks down at what she's just sketched. And this scene that you see in front of you is quite different, but also so similar to what you're seeing in real life. You see your friend V, who you've known a day, but she's already someone who you feel safe around and who you're comfortable with. She's sitting alone on the hilltop, and you look down and you had started to sketch her alone on the hilltop as something you wanted to remember. But the sketch changed as you were drawing it. You erased certain lines and you added new elements to the photo. Looking at the back of V, you no longer see V sitting alone at a hilltop. You see her sitting on top of probably a 3rd-story brownstone, legs dangling off the side, as there's another girl next to her who you can't quite see her face, but she's got her head leaned on V's shoulder. And they're comfortable. They have their arms around each other, and they're looking off into the sunset. And that's what you've drawn.
Fuck. I forgot about that. As soon as you started describing it, I was like...
So... She's just gonna kind of sit for a moment. How far away is V right now?
Maybe 5 feet.
5 feet. I'm sorry if I make you sad.
What?
I'm sorry if I make you sad.
Who told you that?
It's a feeling. Sometimes I just say these things and I don't really think about them, but sometimes it's just, it feels right to say them.
You don't make me sad, Maya. You just remind me of someone.
Who makes you sad?
Who made me happy.
Well, I don't know, it's not very good, but I feel like you should have it. And I kind of like rip the page out of my book and hand it to her. I don't know who the other girl is, I just thought it'd be like really nice if you like had someone.
This is some kind of like joke, right? Or just like pulling my leg. Somebody
V,
told
as
you about
you
it.
look down at that piece of paper and the disbelief is hitting you, but you see every bit of her wavy hair, that tear on the jacket that you know she got climbing a fence with you. There's no way somebody could have imagined this or told someone about it. This is like they were there.
I'm sorry if you don't like it.
No, I like it. Just who told you about this? This isn't funny, Maya. This isn't a joke.
It wasn't meant to be.
You think that this is a joke? You think that you can just come over here and be like, "Oh, look at this! I just drew this for you." And
I'm sorry.
it's fine. Thank you.
I didn't. It's I know I'm weird, and I'm sorry if I've made you uncomfortable. I know that I do that a lot with people.
Didn't make me uncomfortable. It's... You thought of this? You just thought of it?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know who your god is or whatever the hell is going on here, but they've got some explaining to do to you, first of all. But V's gonna kind of look up to the sky aimlessly. Whoever's up there talking to this young child, giving her visions like this. I hope I never get the pleasure of meeting you. I'm sorry, Maya.
V, as you say that, you're looking up, cursing whatever being is in the sky, and you're sitting on top of this hill overlooking most of camp. You can see most of the buildings, but your eyes are drawn to one building near the back. The first building you saw upon entering the valley, the big house. And sitting there on the porch, you see the two keepers of camp, Kyron and Mr. D, playing a game of their cards. You're not familiar with their game. But for just a moment, even though it's way too far, you look up and you feel yourself make eye contact with Mr. D. You see a little flash of purple, and then he looks away.
I knew I shouldn't have gotten day drunk.
Yeah.
Have you drawn this person before? Is there anything else?
No. Is she real?
She was real, yeah. The most vibrant person you'll ever meet. She reminds me of you in a lot of ways. Innocent, young, full of life. Knew her way around the New York streets, even though she definitely shouldn't. Thank you. I'm sorry for getting mad at you earlier. It's just...
It's fine. It happens a lot.
Well, know that unfortunately you're kind of stuck with me. She's gonna give a little playful punch on the shoulder. It's what she would have wanted, and I guess you're pretty cool too. You tell anybody else I said that? Okay.
Okay.
Just gonna kind of pat her head.
She's gonna kind of like nod awkwardly. Yeah. You can look at my other ones if you like. I don't know, because it's just like kind of like the back of her head. I draw a lot of random people all the time.
I mean, I'll have a look. It's worth trying. And then we're gonna kind of rifle through for a bit, and I think that's a good place to...
Yeah. So you guys have your moment a little closer as maybe not friendly friends, but people who have shared trauma, and that's a bond deeper than a lot of friends have. The rest of the demigods, after a time, you all come out of the cabin. Maya and V are there. You collect your things. Eventually, you hear the conch horn leading you to your afternoon, to go through your afternoon activities, have dinner. That night at dinner, Kyron doesn't have you sit at separate tables. He lets you sit at the unclaimed table together one last time. All of you get looks from different people for different reasons. You see the whispers of, wow, that kid, that's a Zeus kid. Occasionally, you hear the, did you see what she did with the cereal? All the time.
I'm so proud.
You hear the occasional, is she drunk? You hear the slight passing whisper of, wow, she's so pretty. You hear so many things. And dinner goes pretty quietly. After dinner, Kyron pulls you all aside. So, have you made decisions, you two, as to where you're staying tonight? He says to the Hades twins.
Yeah, we think we're gonna go to our cabin.
Oh.
All right. Well,
That's what we decided, right? I didn't just. It's been a while.
Callie, you decided to stay at the cabin?
Yeah, but she's not saying anything. She's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Luke and you are going to the Zeus cabin tonight?
I guess so.
I If you need anything, it is my job and my privilege as your teacher to do it. So let me know if the three of you need anything. You two, he looks at Maya and V. As you're not claimed yet, you're gonna be staying with me in the big house until you are.
Does it normally take this long to get claimed?
I would give it a few more days.
You said
And
by
if
Friday,
nothing-
right?
Normally by the bonfire. Adeline, I know you did not have the most pleasant of experiences today, and I am aware of that. But I suggest you look past the surface of several of your siblings. Because, unfortunately, even if you do have issue with them, you will be required to stay with your family. And I know that might not be your chosen family, as it seems you already have this group. But perhaps they could be. If you'll come with me, I can show you to exactly where you'll need to be staying. Oh, Hannah, I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Byford?
You can, though know you will see each other tomorrow.
I'm gonna lean over to Addie and say, okay, I didn't want to say this, but I also snuck in some extra cereal, so if you need help, like flash in the window twice and I'll come over and like hold the box in the window and freak her out.
Give her a big hug.
Love it.
Actually, Callie, from your knowledge of just wanting to break into shit and thinking about it all the time, you do know one of the Hades windows does point like almost directly at the Aphrodite cabin.
Oh.
Currently under the bed, there's
not
an
have given
entire
us this
layout
power.
of the camp.
We can just communicate like that Taylor Swift music video.
That's something that Callie would have picked up on just from her background and who she is.
It's more like a gif of that person holding up a sign like, you want me to kill her?
Murder?
So and then I bring Callie, V, and Maya in for a hug, and then I extend to Luke and Cad for a group hug.
And Cad.
I'll join that group hug.
He sheepishly goes in. He's a bit.
And then she just, once you're like in enough, she like squeezes you in, and she's the.
Cad's not in the emotional place that he was last time this happened.
She lets go, and she like
Damn it, buddy.
looks down and is like, and she's ready to follow.
All right, so the rest of you go your separate ways, already knowing where you're staying for the night. In fact, Addie does know where the Aphrodite cabin is. She's already seen it, but you kind of, as you're walking, get the feeling that Chiron knows you're scared and don't want to be where you're going, and he's taking you because he wants to give you that safety. He walks next to you, the short jaunt from the dining pavilion up towards the Aphrodite cabin, and you see it again. The shades drawn already. The very decorative cottage-like cabin. But this time, unlike last time when you'd come by and everyone was activities, you hear people bustling back and forth inside, getting ready for bed. And Chiron leads you up to the front steps. Well, child, feel free to knock.
She takes a deep. She checks her nails and like ruffles her dress and her hair and just makes sure like everything's
Ooh,
in order.
Can you roll me a d20?
Performance check.
This is something you wanted me to check on regularly with Addie.
Yeah.
Does she have advantage because she still has the blessing?
Nah, this is... Oh, actually, the blessing would negate
Huh?
this. Never mind.
Yeah, because
Good job, Ben.
As hot as you can be right now.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you can't have chipped nails with the Aphrodite blessing. Good job, Ben.
Yeah, I
Good
just
call
look
out,
at my
Anna.
nails and I fluff my skirt and I adjust and make sure that like the straps on my dress are where I want them to be, and fix my hair, and
See,
then
you go to do this like routine that you figured out of how to adjust yourself, because growing up in LA, that's something that you really had to learn, was how to make sure you look nice. But it's almost disconcerting that every time you go to straighten yourself and adjust yourself, everything's already there. This blessing that you've been given has stopped you from looking disheveled, and honestly, it's kind of off-putting because you're used to this tradition of being able to fix yourself.
I quite enjoy it, to be honest, like the fixing. So I go to do that, and then I have that moment where like, oh yeah, okay, and I take a deep breath and I timidly knock, like the kind of knock where it's like, it's okay if they don't actually hear this, but I'm knocking because I should.
All right, you give it like a slight knock, and immediately you hear all of the chattering, because it was a lot of chatting that you heard going on in the cabin, stop. And as you kind of sit there and wait, you hear a pair of you hear someone go, "Well, go get it," and you hear you hear the sound of shoes walking on wooden floors, and the door creaks open, and sticking head out, you see a darker skinned boy, probably like a year or two older than you, stick his head out. Very designer frames, black glasses, closely cut hair. Yes. Oh, Kyron. Hello.
My name's Adeline, and claimed.
I'm sorry, what was that? I can't hear what you said.
My name's Adeline, and I've been claimed, and I'm an Aphrodite's daughter.
You see, so as this guy stuck his head out the door, there was that look of familiarity of like the, oh shit, that's this girl. And then as you say that, his like smile that had been kind of forced already, like that polite smile you give to when people knock on your door, was there, just kind of was like, drops for a moment and then comes back. Oh, this will be great. Okay. I guess you'd better come in then. Kyron, that's right? Yes, child. I've brought her just to make sure she is safe. Okay. And he kind of like steps back. Oh, I'm Mitchell, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Alright, I guess you'd better come in. And he kind of opens the door, and opening the door, you see that this cabin, you've kind of looked in it a little bit already. You've seen a very clean, like tucked corner beds, but now you're properly getting to look at it. You're seeing 2 rows of bunk beds that go across the sides of the cabin. You see that there's a chest. There are 2 chests at the base of every bunk bed, and there are about 11 other kids already in this cabin. You recognize most of them from this morning, but none of their faces really stand out to you, other than there are 2 desks at the back that have been, they look like they started as like proper desks for doing homework and such, but they've been converted to having 3-foot high mirrors into basic vanities of. And sitting there, not looking at the door, arms crossed, lips pursed, you see the girl who had insulted you earlier, just glaring at you through the mirror, but she is not turned around, as if to not acknowledge your presence.
Can I tell, looking at the beds, which one is available? I'm assuming it's one of the top bunks.
You see that along the left side of the room, because there's about 16. There are 16 bunk beds in this cabin. And you see that on the left side of the room, all of the upper bunks are free.
Great. I kind of take a moment to acknowledge that I'm probably not going to be acknowledged. And I kind of look at the closest bed to me and just start climbing to the
Mitchell,
top.
instead of that bed, how about you help her get into the one in the corner? And she kind of points to a bed that is like farthest back from the door, top bunk, and you see that somebody must have known you were coming because it's already been prepared with your bag is already up there. There's something quite a bit different about this setup though than the other setups in that all of the other beds, it seems like people have brought their own bedspreads, making it, relatively fancy. You see some high thread count sheets. You see a lot of very quality bedspreads. They're all subtle but unique and fashionable in their own way. It looks like someone went to the camp store for the bunk that you're being pointed at, and you see bright orange bedspread, pillowcases, blanket, all with the Camp Half-Blood logo on them.
Byron, I have a little bit of money. Do you know if there's any way that in the near future, possibly tomorrow, I could get my own bedspread?
So Chiron at this point is kind of like near you still, but he's not walked in because he's too tall for the building.
Mm-hmm.
He sticks his head through the door. Well, perhaps I could organize the next time the satyrs go out if you have a list. And we could take care of that for you.
That would be awesome. Thank you. Can I slowly walk towards the bed, but I kind of channel my inner model in that sense to where I do the posture and I do the shoulders and I'm being very careful not to trip. And I'm not going to look at anybody. I'm going to let them look at me because I'm used to that. And I'm going to get to the bed and I'm going to take a deep breath because orange. But I am not going to give what's her name again?
She was referred to as Drew earlier.
Right. I'm not going to give Drew the satisfaction of knowing that it disgusts me, the color. So I'm going to do my best to pretend like this is no problem and climb up to the top bunk.
And you make your way... Oh, by the way, I apologize if I'm continuing to mute myself. There's construction going on
That's okay.
downstairs.
Can you hear me better? Because I realized that my audio wasn't going through my microphone. It was the headset.
Oh, we can totally hear you.
Okay.
You do have this proud moment of walking through the different people. Actually, let me... Oh, damn. Okay, that's kind of insane. That's 2 nat 20s in a row. Okay,
Is
so...
that good for me?
Yes, because
Okay.
as you're kind of walking, you are having this look ahead, look towards your goal moment. This keep my chin up, shoulders back, ready to go. But you can still see people out of the corners of your eyes. You might look like you have a very strong posture because you are steeling yourself, but you can always see what other people are thinking. And as you walk by, you turn a few heads. You see people in the cabin kind of giving you that respect, of that nod of damn, she did this better than we did. And as you're doing that, you see Drew perk up for a half a second, about to say something, and then her eyes flick in the mirror to the door where she can still see Chiron standing right there. And it's that moment of got it. This is how it's gonna be. She'll shut up as long as someone's around to see her.
Right.
Yeah. And you climb up into your bed, and honestly, the orange is gross, but they're not bad. They're pretty comfy. They're not the thread counts of your queen size at home.
Right.
And it's a twin, so it's not great, but it's not as bad as you thought it would be.
Yeah, I take a moment to kind of sink in and be if I just ignore the color, then I might be able to have a pretty good night. Is there anyone on the top bunk next to mine?
So on the entire row that you're on, no one else is on the top bunks.
Oh, good. Okay, no bunk pals then.
But underneath of you,
Uh-huh.
is Mitchell. He goes and sits down on the bunk directly underneath of you.
Okay. I sort of, like, elegantly, of course, and not, like, to mess up my hair or my dress. I kind of, like, lean over, and I'm like, what do you do for fun before you go to bed?
He has this moment where he starts to answer, and then he stops, and he looks around at the cabin, and you see no one has gotten up or moved yet. At this point, Chiron has closed the door behind him, but no one is really doing anything. And it's this moment of like, do I talk to her? Do I not?
Right, he's deciding whether he wants to commit social suicide.
Well, we're not actually supposed to be awake soon, so you might want to... The bathroom is over there if you want to get ready for bed, and then we're all going to go to sleep.
Oh, you don't, like, hang out and talk?
Not anymore. You might want to go use the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
Do you have your own toiletries?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do, right? I still do.
Yeah, you still have...
Yeah.
All your stuff has been kind of haphazardly thrown together because you guys grabbed as much as you could. You don't have everything. You left quite a bit behind, a few outfits.
I definitely have the makeup bag, though.
Yeah, you have the makeup bag, you have your shampoo, your conditioner, because you brought those in tiny camping traveling bottles.
Right.
Because
So
your dad
here's
thought
my
they'd be cute.
question. I have, like, if I take out my makeup removing wipes, does it actually remove the makeup?
No. You try it for a couple minutes.
Trippy. Okay,
yeah,
so I, like, take
doesn't
it out
work.
and I, like, go to wipe my eyes and I'm like, oh my god, I could go swimming and it wouldn't move.
Mhm.
Wow. I just have that moment of like, wow, this is so cool. I need to find the nearest lake as soon as possible, as long as it's clean. And
You
just
do
go-
remember there is a lake here in the camp.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I just take that moment where I'm like, hey, and I think of makeup brands and I'm just like, man, Sephora could never do this. And I throw away the makeup wipe because it's no good once it's already like touched my face and everything. And then I grab my toothbrush and my retainer because Addie definitely had braces to make sure that she has straight teeth.
Mhm.
And my face wash and toner, and I head towards the bathroom.
Yeah. So you use bathroom. You get into the bathroom. It's... First of all, you didn't realize that any of these cabins had their own bathroom because you did see, on your tour, you were shown a bathroom like building.
Yeah.
You get in, it's pretty big size. There's a vanity in there. There's a bathtub and a shower separate. But you know, you get ready for bed. You end up you tried with your makeup, threw away your makeup wipes, get into your pajamas, which of course are, I'm assuming, soft and pink.
Silk.
Mm-hmm. You pop into your pajamas.
They have
and by
my
the time,
initials on the pocket.
just right here, just right in them. Okay. Yeah, you get ready. As you walk out, everyone else is kind of ready for bed at this point. They're all bunked down. Lights are almost all off. And you kind of crawl up in your new bedspread, missing your chosen family, but not as uncomfortable as you could be.
Where does Drew sleep?
Drew sleeps the closest to the door, next to the two from the bathroom door. She's close enough for convenience, but not too close for having to listen to people.
Right.
She pretty much has the best positioning in the cabin, and it's also farthest from you as possible.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can hear the sounds of, designer face masks or eye masks being put on, and people rustling in bed, and everyone pops to sleep. In the other cabins, you have the big house where Maya, V, you guys are now in the same room. You've laid down for the night. You guys can hear each other starting to pass out. Hades kids, you've taken up the 2 out of the 3 beds that are present in your cabin. And yes, Callie.
Just wondering, where does the window that we have kind of...
So
Yeah.
there are 3 windows which are actually not visible from the outside of the building, because the outside of the building is made out of just obsidian slabs. So as you look through, there's one on each wall, and one of them points off towards the Aphrodite cabin. One points towards the center of the circle, towards the Zeus and Hera cabins. You can see both of them, and one points off towards the climbing wall.
Okay, can I see anyone through my window?
Through your window, the blinds have been shut, and you watch as the lights go out.
Okay, then I'm just gonna stick a little piece of, even though it's in, I'm just gonna write on a piece of paper and I'm gonna stick it on the window, and it says, "Good night, Addie," and then in brackets underneath, Drew, I'm always carrying cereal. Close brackets.
Where is the window that faces the Hades cabin?
That's the one at the back of the building. So you're actually like 90 degrees with it. So it's like if you were to look past the 2 vanities, it would be out that direction.
I'm gonna remember that we had that connection to where we knew that we could like communicate through the window, and I'm gonna go just peek out and see if I see that.
So you can actually do that without like even getting out of bed. You can just stick your head over and around and look. And the Hades cabin is still spooky at night. It creeped you out the first time. It creeps you out this time. The like black walls and the green skull with the the skull with the green flames and all that. And something you didn't see looking at it the previous day is now that there's kind of light showing through one direction, there's a spot on the wall that's like glowing because light is shining through it, and you see a backlit version of. It's really hard to make out at this distance, but you get the gist of something Addie something. Drew something cereal.
That I giggle a little bit, but I like try like not to giggle too loud to like bring too much attention to myself. But I like take a moment where I'm just like, oh, do I have any paper with me?
None that you would have on your bag.
Can I take? That might be a little controversial. Can I take lipstick and draw a heart?
Abby was waiting for that. Yeah, you can do one. I don't know how visible it'll be at this point in time, but you can definitely make it.
I take that moment where I'm like, do I really want to ruin this lipstick? And then I remember that I got lipstick on all the time now. So I make a heart. You
reach into your makeup bag and pull out the one that's like the least pink, like the one that's like edging on purple.
Yeah.
You're like, you take it out, you draw your heart. Hades child, Cal, make me a perception check to see if you can see it, because it's dark and not backlit, so it'll be hard to see this one. You might just have to wait till morning.
Perception, that is a 16.
Okay, above the DC of 15. You can kind of tell after a moment that something is being done, and then you sit there and you reach into your bag and you bring out the flashlight that you stole from a gas station like 2 weeks ago. And you kind of point it towards, and for a second, Addie, you see the side of your cabin kind of like light up, and then you see the purple pink heart in the corner of the window.
And then, like, knowing that, I think of all the possible conversations that we could have through the window, and I like think to myself, I gotta get paper, because I don't know how easily it'll be to keep removing lipstick to write with it again. And I curl into bed. I lean over and I tell Mitchell goodnight. And then I curl up to go to sleep.
Okay. You see him like nod to you as if he's saying goodnight to you, but isn't being heard saying goodnight to you. And you go to bed. The Hades kids, you've pulled into your Cad. You've watched Callie do this, but you know what she's up to.
Cad is just staring at the ceiling. And probably isn't going to fall asleep for a good few hours.
Yeah. And then, Luke, you take your time. You set up the bed that Billy left for you, like the collapsible one in the Zeus cabin. And you sit there, and for a moment, you look at like this statue, this unmoving statue of Zeus that's in the thing. And you remember that with his note, Billy had left you an eye mask because he thought about it. Yeah, and if you want, you can use that to cover up, or you can just try and go to sleep.
He's never really used one before, so he's probably gonna not
Okay.
use it. But like, sleep doesn't come easy. Like,
No,
I
don't
it's
expect sleep
cold,
comes easy to
like,
any of you tonight.
quiet. Like, yeah, no, he's yeah, no, he's not comfortable like at all.
No,
And he's
you
like,
toss and turn.
he's definitely feeling that like emptiness around him, and he's like, yeah, it's difficult to sleep.
But you all do eventually hit sleep. Some of you at different times. Some of you immediately. Yes, like V. V, what's up?
Quick note, yeah, as soon as I get into the room, I'm knocked. I'm out, but if Maya does look, she will see that in my hand I am clutching the drawing she has, just kind of like close to me as I fall asleep.
Noted. So when it's wrinkled in the morning, I'll remember that. Yeah, you all get to sleep at some point. The next morning, you wake up, you make your way to breakfast, and are seated at your tables. Though, Hades kids, I do have to ask a question. Which table are you sitting at? Are you sitting at the Hades table, or are you sitting at the Unclaimed table?
I'm at the Unclaimed table.
Yeah, we want to sit with our friends.
Yeah. Screw you, Dick.
Yay!
Zeus, this is power move. Are you deciding to sit at the Unclaimed table or at the Zeus table?
Oh God. Okay. So I think, like initially he'd like get there first and be like, well, I guess I have to sit here, and kind of sit at the initially like sit at the Zeus table, but like seeing that everyone else is kind of sitting together, kind of like look over to them, be like, should I come over there? Like, I want to be alone over here.
Addie, actually, same thing for you. The Aphrodite cabin is one of the last ones to finish getting ready in the morning. So you all hike up to the pavilion, and you see your Unclaimed friends are all sitting at the Unclaimed table. Luke looking like he very much wants to join them, but hasn't quite yet.
I'm definitely going there, but I'm going to invite Mitchell.
Oh, I don't think we should. That's not how we do things around here. We should definitely sit at the tables that we're supposed to be at.
Okay, I just wanted to extend the invitation. I'm gonna sit with my friends, though.
Are you sure? You might get in trouble for that.
It's okay, I don't mind. I feel much more welcome there, so if I get in trouble for being with people that like me and that I like, then that's not so bad.
You see him kind of like bite his lip and look back at like the group. You know, most of us aren't that bad. It's really just her.
I
You
know.
could be friends with us too.
Absolutely, and I probably will once I get the chance to talk to them without her. But this was my first night sleeping without them, and I want to check in with them and ask how they are, and they're my friends.
Well, Kyron looks like he likes you a lot anyway, so you probably won't get in trouble, but I wouldn't do it too much.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. But if you
Alright.
ever, want to meet my friends, you totally can.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. And
Okay,
I
and he
walk
kinda-
to the table.
And he like readjusts his glasses and like straightens his shirt. And he's wearing a very nice like salmon colored button up today.
Of course.
And he just kind of walks away. Yeah, what's up, Callie?
This is nothing to do with Callie. I've just realized this is the lunchroom scene from High School Musical.
Yeah. Yes, it is. If you think I
Oh my
didn't
God.
just rewatch all 3 High School Musical films, you're a fucking fool.
It's just like,
You're a
Alexa,
fucking-
play status quo.
Idiot.
Oh no.
You know, I forgot to say this at the top of the show, but I just saw the comment in chat. I will remind everyone that we are playing with completely homebrew classes that I took some time to make. So if you're trying to guess what classes people are, their classes are Child of Insert God. So I just wanted to make that clear to the audience.
Yeah, our
they are
class
not
and our
playing
race are
as
very-
fighters. They're the same thing.
They're
Yeah.
the same thing. We
Race
technically don't
demigod,
have
yeah.
classes. We just have
Yeah.
racial
Racial
abilities.
abilities. Yeah. Yeah.
What team?
Wildcat!
Yeah. So Luke.
Hold on.
After a moment, you see Addie kind of break off from the Aphrodite group and go join them at the Unclaimed. Does that make you go over and join them?
Okay. This is what Luke's gonna do. I thought about this.
Okay,
Luke is gonna kind of look over, see that, and he's gonna kind of tentatively get up and kind of head over towards like the unclaimed table, like as if he's going to kind of pass them by as he goes to give his offering. But he kind of like hovers by the table and kind of like gives everyone a wave.
Okay.
What are you laughing about?
Don't worry about it. I don't want to recognize that exists. Don't worry about it. Anyway, just we're gonna move on. Ignore it. Okay. So, you guys make your way over there, and as you begin to have your breakfast, Callie, I'm gonna assume something, and you're gonna tell me if it's right, Val. Callie, I'm assuming, is eating a bowl of cereal, keeping eye contact with the Aphrodite cabin the whole time.
Like slowly raising it.
I just wanted to make sure I was right there, because that's the vibe I got. I wanted to make sure.
I'm assuming that since Cal was like one of the first people there, she's sitting either beside V or Maya, but she's going to like nudge Cal and start drawing like a caricature style of Cal dumping cereal on Drew.
So you guys,
and it's going to look. I'm gonna look at Drew. I'm gonna accentuate all of like her worst features. So, like she'll have like a really crooked nose and like really thin.
That's great.
So you all do your breakfast rituals. Which, if you want to keep it quick, sure, go for it. Tell me what you're doing during breakfast.
I was just gonna say, Luke's gonna kind of go over and kind of hover. Not exactly. He's not gonna sit down. He's kind of just gonna like hover by the table, like give everyone away, and kind of be like, "How are you guys doing this morning? You guys okay?" And he's gonna kind of look at Maya and be like, "Was sleeping in the big house okay?"
It was okay. I was sleeping with V, so.
I'm glad you weren't by yourself.
She goes to sleep really quickly.
Hey.
Like her head hits the pillow and she's knocked out.
Yeah.
Why did you not sleep well?
I slept fine.
Callie had something? Oh, sorry about that.
Because I mean, if it's if it's kind of lonely up there, I can come stay up there as well if you want until you get claimed. You sure?
It's fine.
I just don't want you to be alone. You know?
I'm with V.
Okay. Sure.
I'm gonna do.
And it just gives you a smile.
Fist pump to Maya.
Yeah. Oh wait, wrong thing.
Yeah, Luke kind of like gives like nod, just like glad that Maya's found a friend and is doing okay.
Being replaced.
How dare you!
Luke can't be replaced.
Notice how many times he said about not wanting to be alone.
Callie, you had a thing?
It, buddy.
Literally the only time Callie is breaking eye contact with Drew is when Luke comes over and she's like, with like a mouthful of cereal, it's like, Sparky!
That's not my name. Please don't call me that.
Don't
I don't
try
want
to
that name.
listen, it's just easier if you go with it.
Yeah. So far, I have Sunshine, and I point at Maya. Sunshine, Bubbles, and I point at Addie. Macaroni and cheese, I point at V, and I'm still working on that one. And this. That's what I call Cad.
Yeah. Just go with it, man.
As Callie is pointing at each individual person, the rest of you see Billy kind of walk up, clutching what looks like a small stack of papers. Hi everybody. Hello. Your first proper day at camp. We got your schedules figured out. Because we figured, you got some free time and some activities. But Kyron told me to come give you these. Addie, Cad, Callie, Luke, Maya, V. Here you go. I hope everything was okay. I tried to make sure all your guys' stuff was where it was supposed to be. I had kind of last minute with Cad and Callie, but I made sure that it got there.
Thank you, Billy.
You're great.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, Kyron,
blinks at that like, kind of half forgetting.
and he kind of like scratches the side of his leg, which is exposed and furry.
Luke doesn't look down. He's keeping eye contact.
Kyron had said that your first activities should probably be together, so he scheduled an introductory Pegasus lesson for you guys.
Yes.
And he
So-
like freaks out a little bit.
It's going to be right after breakfast, and it says on your thing to go to the Pegasus stables, which I think I showed, or some of you got showed where that was yesterday. I forget the DM. Was it Billy, or did I have somebody else show you guys around?
I think it was Billy.
I think it was Billy.
It
Yeah,
was
I showed
Billy.
you guys
It
where
was
that
Will.
yesterday.
Will?
Was it?
Will.
I think it was Will. It was
Will.
Will. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you guys did Pegasus stuff already?
No,
No.
Will showed them
They
the
just-
camp while the big three kids
Oh,
were doing
he
things.
I was
just-
confused.
We were,
It's like,
off
Yeah,
doing,
no.
we were off doing
He just
trauma.
was like, and that's the stable.
We're off doing trauma. All right, if this show ever gets a T-shirt, we were off being trauma to be a T-shirt. Also,
Oh, yeah.
not the
Not
Doing
the
Lexus.
trauma.
Lexus.
Eat the rich.
And now you can wear the cob.
Yeah. So, So it's gonna be right after breakfast. It's with one of our Pegasus riders. He's gonna kind of teach you guys what it's like to be around the Pegasus, and maybe you'll get to take them up in the air.
Sounds really cool.
Thank you, Billy.
Though, Kyron did say, Kat and Callie, if you're not comfortable being in the sky, you don't need to ride. But
What?
well, with the whole we're past the time, because you a long time ago, maybe you might have, if you were flying, you might have gotten struck by lightning. But we don't think that'll happen anymore.
Billy.
You don't think that'll happen.
Well, the thing is the reason that Zeus, and you kind of see as he says that, you hear in the distance is distant
Skyman.
thunder.
The reason that Skyman.
Kyron said he explained to you that he used to blow up, or that he didn't like. There was a reason he didn't like his brother's kids, and yes, Luke.
DM question.
Yeah, what's up?
Was Billy in the know about this? I thought Kyron was the only
everyone
person
was in the
that-
know that there weren't supposed to be big three kids. Everyone knew.
No. I mean,
No. About Hades.
about
Oh,
Hades
Billy knows everything.
specifically.
Yeah, Billy is told everything. All
Billy
the
is
staff
oh,
knows.
God, the
It's the other
gossip
staff.
that Addie
Yeah.
could have with Billy is
Yeah.
unreal.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Billy is in the know.
I
As
was
far
just
as
so
you've been
confused.
made
It's like, wait a
aware, it
minute.
seems like the staff know what's going on.
Okay.
I'll look at him and I'm gonna go, Billy. Can I
Yeah,
call
yeah,
you
yeah.
Billy?
You already do. Yes.
Billy. I cannot stress to you how the threat of being exploded by lightning doesn't matter, because I'll be on the back of a flying horse.
Callie
that
does
is
not
what
speak
Miss-
for both of us.
That was. That's really funny, actually, because when Kyron was giving me the schedules and explaining this, that's what Mr. D said. He said that I think it was that Candace girl. She really probably would be okay with that. I think he's what he said.
Candace! You know what? Phineas and Ferb, I'm okay with it.
I like this guy.
I'm sorry.
We need to get you a TV.
I mean, I have a TV. It plays all the VHSs. I have a TV.
Oh.
They have Phineas and Ferb on VHS. I can give you my copy next time I go home. Oh wait, haha, I don't have one.
Oh, wow, that...
Jeez.
Oof. This took a
So
dark turn.
lightning, huh? That's Sparky.
Yes, Addie. Yes.
Addie wants to kind of think about it for a second and be like, but Billy, I mean, don't you think that if his kid is in the air too, that he would be less inclined to make lightning come down?
It used to. Based on what used to happen, because of reasons I can't talk here why they would, but because not if they're not riding the same horse.
Oh, okay. We're gonna come back to that. We don't have time to unpack that right now, but we're gonna get to it.
No, we don't have time to unpack all of that.
All of that.
All right, we're gonna hit Luke and then V, and then we're gonna move to the thing.
Luke is just, as this is being said, Luke's just gonna kind of look up at the sky and be like, Dad, Don't smite my friends, please. Thank you.
Aw.
There you go. You're safe.
Yay!
That thunder
Just like
doesn't
that.
sound promising.
He was answering me, I think.
Does the threat of lightning being attracted to metal still stand in the sky? Do I have to like leave all my metal belongings down here?
If you weren't at camp, maybe, but Pegasi are really good at not getting hit by lightning when it's not gods throwing it at them. Also, you're not grounded,
man.
so like getting struck by lightning while in the air isn't that bad. It's just hot.
It's not that
Imagine
bad. It's just lightning.
Wait.
I mean, we had a kid.
seeing a lightning storm from the sky, though.
In '96,
so cool.
we had a child of Hermes. They called him Cracker. I don't remember what his name was, but he got struck by lightning twice in one day and lived. But because he was flying both times, he stole the first plane ever built, the real first plane ever built, not the one that the Wright brothers stole.
Wait,
That's
what?
Addy, what were you saying, Addy?
That Zeus would cause lightning to come down to strike children of other big three. Would that hurt the Pegasus? Like, were they okay?
I mean,
just want to make sure, like, that he wasn't killing the Pegasus.
So since you finished eating, the Pegasus stables are over here.
Of course I'm worried about the people on the Pegasus. Of course. Don't get me wrong, you guys. Like, of course I care about your safety.
They're
But are
fine.
the Pegasus
Love
like
it.
are they good at
Wait,
I'm sure
Twinkle
you'll have
Toes
a
can
great
do his zappy magic.
can they redirect lightning like in that
I'm
show
sure
I
you'll
just
be able
watched?
to have a great time on the Pegasus, Addy. I'll see you later. And he just walks away.
Okay, bye, Billy.
He just walks away.
When the party asks too many questions.
The lack of clarity on whether or not we will be struck by lightning is definitely.
What
I
up?
mean, the
If
thing
you
before the Pegasus is
Pegasus
Pegasus.
ride.
Yeah,
If
okay.
We're just gonna slap him on the shoulder, be like, "Don't worry, I spoke to Dad. It'll be fine."
Yeah,
Shut
if
up,
you're
Dad.
scared to
That
go
was-
up, that's fine. You know, you don't have to go if you're too afraid.
I'll catch you if you fall. It's fine.
I'm not
I will.
worried
You can
about
Twinkle
falling.
Toes, do your like zappy fingers again.
Yeah.
And then you can catch them like a lightning lasso.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Lightning lasso.
I don't think
sounds
that's how
so
it's worked.
cool.
Also,
Now I didn't.
what
I
was
got
that
a C
nickname?
in physics.
Twinkle Toes. You twinkle
okay,
and you have
what?
toes.
You know what? Sparky is better.
Yeah.
Twinkle Toes.
Does that mean we can
Approval.
call you Sparky?
It's not better. It's,
Sparky.
taking
it's
it as
not. It's
approval.
not great, but it's better.
Okay,
Yes.
Sparky it is. Let's go to the stables.
My name is Luke.
Zap hands.
So
I
you
think
guys,
Sparky
I'm
after...
just
really
awkwardly
fun.
standing by the table. By the way, he's not
Emperor
sat there.
Palpatine.
Yeah. Luke, Luke is kind of like, after the whole Sparky discussion, he's kind of at the front of the pack as you guys are making your way, and then he remembers after a few minutes that, like, he doesn't actually know where the stables are. And the rest of you will lead him to the stables. I'll lead all of you to the stables. Yes, Addy.
Like, hang back and ensure to Cad and Cal that, like, that horses are my favorite animal, so I was concerned for the animal, but of course I'm concerned for their safety and don't want them to be zapped by lightning either.
Oh,
I just
no,
wanna
it's
make
like-
sure.
It's when you you watch a film and you're like, oh, there's people dying. What a bummer. But then the horse gets vaguely injured and you're like
No.
bawling.
I know.
If that is my one request.
You know, that's a sign of
Buckle
being a
man in the
psychopath, right?
sky. Don't hurt the Pegasus. What?
What did you say?
Huh?
What?
to the stable!
Nothing. Just
To the stables!
So as you guys are approaching the stables, all of you can hear this discussion happening, by the way. This is just a discussion. And at this point, honestly, after like 2 days of hanging out with these people, it's not that unexpected. And you make your way to the bottom of the valley where there is quite a large stable. You can see an open paddock where there is a pretty large, open, like no walled stable where there's different. What's the term? Why am I missing? The DM has lost the
The word book.
Yep.
The word brain.
Correct.
I'm gonna take a second. Gonna remind everyone to be a #HydroHomie. Take a drink of water.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Hydrate.
We're joined by a snake.
Bonnie, Birdie, I
Mhm.
see you both. I haven't seen either of you take a drink of beverage
My
recently.
drink's empty now. I've finished it.
Call Emmy.
Don't worry, I'm drinking.
All right.
Psych, there's nothing in it. I tricked you again.
So, stalls. That's the word I was looking for. You see several open stalls, and in the open paddock, you see these pure white, gorgeous horses with these large shapes on their back that are folded up across, just like every storybook and movie that you've ever seen. These are pure white Pegasi. And you take a second, kind of entranced by how beautiful they are. They're shimmering feathers. You can actually smell like this fresh scent of hay and fresh grass just emanating already from the stable itself. And you see that they're all kind of trotting, moving, because there's already someone on top of one of them. You see a heavier set guy, probably 17, 18. He's broad-shouldered, a little shorter, with a bit of a pudgier face and blonde curly hair. And he sees you guys. Yes, Addie?
Again,
Or sorry, yes, Callie?
nothing to do with it. I just thought you said you see someone already riding in on the horse. I was like, it's Chiron. Horse. Oh my god.
I guess Chiron is a pure white stallion,
You're
something
not
that the movies
wrong.
have never gotten right. And he sees you guys kind of approach the like picket fence side of the stables, and he pulls up to the side fence. Hi, you guys are the new students Chiron's having me train today, right?
I guess so.
Yep, that's
Hi.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's supposed to be all of you. Well, hi, I'm Polix. Nice to meet you. What are your guys' names?
I'm Addie.
Addie, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Maya.
Maya.
I'm
Do you like
Cadmus.
the letter?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. You said cat. You said Candy. What is your name?
It's Cadmus, pronounced like Cadouche.
Like Cadbury eggs.
Yeah.
Cad. Okay, and what's your name? He points at Cadmus.
Cad is transfixed on the Pegasi, specifically on their hooves,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very
That's hot.
unnerved.
He's gonna say moo or something.
You actually like you're just like looking at the ground, and even though this is a very nice paddock, there are still patches of ground where there's mud and dirt because it's been eaten away, and you see the hooves like sink like 1.5 inches into the ground as the horses trot, and it's like that's several hundred pounds of beast there.
I think I can do this.
And then what was your name? Hey, you? And he points at V.
V, like the letter.
V, huh? And he kind of looks at you for a second.
Yeah.
I can't take this seriously. Please.
I'm sorry, my back, my scoliosis. So I can't sit up. So I figured
Can't you like
this is
prop
better.
yourself up with pillows?
Can we just get like that awful like every time you look at like open your camera app where your chin is way too close to your chest and you're just like, ugh. Can we get that angle, please?
I figured this worked just as well.
This is so much worse. I hate everything about it.
I love everything about it.
This is tremendous.
Okay, this is what you get.
That's fine. That's all I wanted.
It's the Snapchat angle.
Hey,
Yeah,
look.
it's the
You up?
You
You
up.
got games on your phone?
You got games on your phone?
and he looks at you for a second. And like for the first time, you don't make you're not super big on eye contact with people. It's something that you've mentioned before, or it makes you a little not comfy. But he looks at you, and you see his eyes, which you thought were dark at first, like maybe a brown or black, are just a deep purple. And he looks you in the eye. V, huh? You remind me of somebody.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay, I guess. Do you guys want to get started, or?
I'm Luke, by the way.
Oh yeah. Hi, Luke. I know who you are. I'm sorry. Your name's kind of getting thrown around a lot today.
Each Pegasus has its
I'm
own name.
slowly getting used to that.
Yeah, you won't.
Nope. No, I won't. You're right. I
And
like
yes,
this guy already.
Addie, every Pegasus does have its own name. Like
What
this
are
is
they?
Chestnut, and he pats one bright white horse, and this is Rosary. He points at another identical bright white horse. Like
Do
for a
they
second,
have
you're like, how does he
Different eye
keep
colors or
Not
something?
even a little bit.
Good. I love that. Okay.
Yeah. You just kind of learn to figure him out after you've been with him for a little bit. Yes, Addie. Callie. Why do I keep mixing up Addie and Callie today? My brain is not
We are
working.
one and the same now. During the introductions as well, I've we'll go around. Callie, just while Cadmus is distracted, is gonna go. This is my brother Jared. He's 19. He never learned how to fucking read.
You see him snicker at that one, because unlike the satyrs, he has access to the internet occasionally.
Nice.
Fine.
My guy.
All right. So if you want to get started, I guess we could go around to the front of the stables. I'll meet you guys over there. I'll teach you everything you need to know, the basics of the Pegasi. But honestly, and he kind of like leans in close off the top of Chestnut. This is kind of like a free period for a lot of people. It's just you come here, hang out with a Pegasi. You don't even have to take them flying as long as you're just here. I know a lot of the Aphrodite kids, they get a signal like at the edge of the paddock, so they just hang out over there.
Wait, I'm sorry. Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, just because there's a bunch of magic. I mean, here's probably safer than anywhere else. I'd still probably wouldn't do it, but you can't stop them from checking their Snapchat.
Is that like allowed? Like would
It's
I be
not allowed.
Duly
Eddie,
noted.
I don't think
don't
that
do it.
phone my mom gave you will have Snapchat on it.
Does it have games?
That was like, that thing was probably
Does it
like
have
older than
games?
you.
Well, I mean, it should at least be able to let me
It's
call
not a
like my
smartphone.
dad.
Huh?
Oh, it is a smartphone. It's a Galaxy S3.
I thought you said it was like a
no.
Nokia brick phone that
No,
had
no,
the
no,
battery
no.
disconnected.
No, the battery was disconnected because it's Android. Because Android can actually remove batteries. Android superior. But
Not sponsored, by the way.
not sponsored. God, if Apple ever wanted to sponsor me, I probably wouldn't do it because that'd be kind of like selling. Or it's Apple Android. Fuck, I can't talk. You guys take this scene on your own. I'm gonna be gone for a while.
No.
Addie,
To the
Addie brings the phone out of her pocket and starts like doing this thing where you're like looking for those bars, you know?
At where you're at right now, you don't get anything.
And I put it back in my pocket.
Yeah. So, who actually wants to learn how to ride a Pegasus today?
Absolutely.
Jared, you're looking a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
Huh?
Well, your sister said your name was
Everyone's
Jared. I
raising
just.
their hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do? Okay.
Oh,
Cool. Jared, you can be the first one up then.
What?
his name's
You're gonna-
actually JD.
His name's JD.
Yeah.
we
Oh,
call him
okay.
JD for sure.
All right. At this point, now I'm gonna have you roll a deception check. He believed you the first time.
Ah, shit.
Can
Roll with
she get
advantage though,
advantage
because
because I
everyone's
backed her
agreeing
up?
with this. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
3 lies the first time. My name's not Jared. I'm not 19, and I did learn how to read.
No, you didn't. All right, deception. What's my mod for that? It's under crits. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a dirty 20. 16 plus 4.
Wow.
God.
What?
Hell yeah.
Saucy 20? Are we still calling them saucy?
Saucy
Saucy
20.
20.
We're calling them saucy 20s. Yeah.
Saucy 20s.
Yeah. So yeah, no. JD, hop over the fence. I'll teach you the first things you need to know. It's actually pretty quick. You don't need to know a lot.
Jump in there with the horses.
With the Pegasi, yeah.
You'll be fine, man. Don't worry about it.
Can I go with him?
You can do
Give him
it.
a reassuring
we're gonna-
thumbs up.
We're gonna start with one at a time, just so I
Now
can
that
make
everyone
sure
is
everybody's.
now that everyone is acting condescending, he jumps over the fence instantly.
Being
You hop over the
Strides
fence, and your
across.
sneakers. Your
Maya
sneakers
was
go
being
about.
genuinely encouraging.
Yeah.
Who is Luke?
Yeah, you can tell who's being condescending and who's not, but your sister being condescending is the part where you're like,
But yeah, even the people who are doing it honestly, it gets on Cad's nerves.
yeah.
I was
Um,
doing it genuinely. I was
you're
like,
sh-
let's go together.
Your shoes sink about an inch and a half into the mud as you kind of like pop in.
It could be poopy.
And you look down at your shoes and you immediately look up and you are eye level with one of the Pegasi. It is looking at you. Yeah, this one's Summer. She's kind of the nicest one around here, so
That's my roommate's name.
we're gonna introduce you as Summer. And you see he's now popped off of the top of the Pegasus he was riding and has moved along to the front. And none of these Pegasi are in any way, like, they don't have any reins on them, they have no saddles, they've not been tacked up yet, nothing. They're just completely bareback. He's gonna take his hand and place it right behind her ear on her neck and kind of guide her forward. Now, she's really, really easy. Come on, JD. You look like you're a pretty strong kid. I feel like you can get this figured out.
JD's was scared of horses.
Dude, this is just the Pegasi thing. It's just really there's something at JD's core that is saying get out of this situation.
Yup.
Is it the lightning threat, perhaps?
It's that. It's just instinctively. I mean, I know why out of
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, exactly. This combined creation of the two gods who would want to kill you the most. Yeah, you kind of look into its eyes, and there is that fear, and that like, oh, this doesn't sit right with me. But you look into the eyes of this Pegasus, and there's just something so just apathetic, does not give a shit about you in its expression.
Fuck.
It just does not care about you at all. And kind of like, it leans forward.
If anything, that's more reassuring.
Yeah. Now go ahead, JD, put your hand on the on her just right here, and he's gonna point to a spot like right above her nose where the bone ridge kind of like pushes in.
His whole hand, just like that.
Whole hand. So you, never having been near a horse before, with your experience, always thought horses would be like soft because everyone talks about how soft horses are, but it's very like that rough hair texture of just like, oh.
The nose is soft. The nose can be soft.
Well, the tip of the nose, yeah, but he's up here near the bridge is where they're at.
Oh.
Yeah.
Horses are bristly.
Yeah, horses ain't soft, especially if you haven't taken care of their coat in a while.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. As a horse owner, fuck, ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Hey.
Same.
Why do you all own horses? Jesus.
I grew up on a farm, yo.
So
We're all
My
horse
husband has
cats.
horses, so
We are horse girls.
And you feel this, and the horse at this point, like, not still kind of being apathetic, but you can see real intelligence at this point in Summer's eyes that kind of focuses in on you and bucks a little bit under your hand, as if like, yeah, scratch a little harder, yo.
Shifts
I love
hands
it.
back
Now-
and forth, just scritch.
Now, I think since it's your guys' first day, I'm gonna get you acquainted with them. I'll tack them up for you. And honestly, when you're riding the Pegasi, it's more like letting them do their own thing. So as long as they seem okay with you, and Summer seems to be fine with JD here, you can kind of just let them do all the work. Yes, Addie.
So I have a DM question.
Yes.
You don't need cell service to take pictures.
Not at all. No.
Okay. I remember that, and I start taking selfies while I wait my turn, and I go around and I try to get everyone to take a selfie with me, and then I take, if we're on like a pretty hill, then I'll like take a landscape picture to like send to my dad,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna try to take a picture of one of the Pegasi because Addie doesn't quite know about that.
So as you take a photo, like you take the photos of the landscape and everything, and already you're looking at the photos and they're coming out weirdly pixely and a little distorted.
Yeah.
Just like it's almost like there's a shimmer to them, almost like the
almost
road
like it's
on
an
a
Android
hot
and
day.
their camera's stuck.
So
Oh.
we
I
got
think
better
to
cameras
myself-
recently.
I think to myself, and I'm just like,
Fight me.
this camera sucks.
But as you go and try and take a photo of Pegasus, it kind of like really heats up in your hands. And as you look at the photo, it comes out with that weird pixely green kind of square animation on it.
Ooh.
I'll have to replace that.
Yeah. And after a moment, Cad, Pollux kind of has brought you over, and you can now have both hands, one on the shoulder, one on the neck of Summer. Yeah, now just take your hand and run it along her back. See, it's not that bad. I'm assuming you don't want to ride Summer.
He looks over at the group who are looking at him intently. I'm gonna ride the goddamn horse.
All right. All right. So, so as you say that, he goes, absolutely. You know what, everybody, meet me at the front of the saddle or at the stables. I'll tack you guys up some Pegasi and we'll take a flight.
I put the horse back in my pocket, and I start the phone back in my pocket,
Put the
And I-
whole
Pockets of holding.
just the whole thing, and I start walking over. But I think to myself that it's just a crappy camera, not
Mhm.
that it has to do with what I was taking a picture of. Like I
Mhm.
still don't make that connection.
Yeah, that makes sense. So after about 15 minutes, actually, Pollux really quickly runs through and gets 3 different Pegasi tacked up, other than Chestnut, the one he was riding. You see he's put very long saddles meant for 2 people per Pegasi. Per Pegasus. I think, JD, I'm going to stick you with Summer here. Let's see here. Addie, you seem to like Rosemary, so you can be with Rosemary.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead. We'll have Eraser over here, and he points to one Pegasus, who the name catches you off because you don't know why they would name a horse Eraser, and then you see on the side of the building it has painted stables, but the S, which looks pretty freshly painted, the bottom half has been scraped. Oh, there go.
Hello, guess whose
Oh, no.
power just got taken out by a really big lightning strike?
That's
Oh.
unfortunate.
Oh.
That's very unfortunate.
That was, yeah, that was really loud.
Technical
I don't know if you-
difficulties.
I don't know if you guys would have heard it on the stream, but oh my god, that was like directly above the house.
That
Zeus is like, I
Insane.
approve.
Zeus is like, yes, Pegasus riding. I want to join.
Yo,
Correct.
thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. I'm currently on data.
Yeah. So
And
you know
I
what?
can
We
keep
can
my-
go. Okay.
I'm just on mobile, and I apologize for any
S-
very loud bangs. That's lightning. Sorry.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes,
we will
yes,
have
yes.
one disembodied player. For now. What
Tell
is
the
up?
Zeus, everybody.
As
So-
Percy frantically fixes the stream.
Yeah, Birdie, you did that very quickly. By the way, I just want to give you a.
Brava.
Yeah.
Action.
Magician?
I might be able to go. I reckon the power just tripped. I'm gonna make sure the storm's somewhat
Okay.
gone first, and then I will see about trying to turn it back on.
I
For
will
now,
remember
I
that.
am sitting in
know.
the dark.
So
on
why
my
don't we
phone.
take a break?
We can do our break here. I was I guess I was
I'm
gonna
good.
no, I was gonna do it
I'm
off
good.
after the Pegasus thing anyway, so we can just do our break
Mhm.
now. That's fine. Yeah. So we're gonna take normally I would say a 10-minute, but let's do a 15 just in case for to maybe see if we can get Ben to have some power back. So we'll be back at the hour mark, guys. Just because like we want to do some Pegasus riding, and I have something that's gonna take a long time at the end of the session, so we might go a little late today, which I'm sorry for all of our people who it's like 1 a.m. for. I'm very sorry. Yeah, we'll see you guys all in like 15 minutes. Bye,
Wait.
guys.
Bye.
Did someone say?
things.
Hello,
Mm,
my
by the way.
people. Hello. Hi. We are back. As you can see, we still do not have proper power for our child of Zeus. However, that is not going to stop us from playing. He is currently still trying to get things figured out. If he can, he
I'm
will.
Iris
currently
messaging
sat
in.
in the dark, only illuminated by my phone screen and the flashes that are coming through my windows. So
Yes.
Spoopy.
He's Iris
So-
messaging in.
Did you just hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No, we did not,
No.
because Discord does a great job at getting rid of that shiza.
That was
So-
yeah. So if you hear a very
Crazy.
loud bang, don't worry, it's not me dying. It's just
It's probably not
Zeus
you
having
dying.
fun.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and continue with the session. For now, we might not go as late as we were originally going to, just because there are a myriad of reasons as to why we can't go late. But, you know, we're having fun. So, to get us back into things, I was just telling you that I was spinning the yarn of the tale of the Pegasus known as a racer and why he is the way he is. Pollux points to this specific Pegasus, who you can see this Pegasus has normally this pure white hair along its flanks and the pure white wings of every other Pegasus in this stable. However, streaked across its forehead, its hair is matted down and just painted black because it takes its head and just starts wiping the paint off one of the walls. We don't know why he does this. He's just decided that it is his job to not have a sign anymore.
Amazing.
I would like to immediately walk through like, I love them.
Yeah, he's a good Pegasus. He's a little odd though. I figured he'd be a good match for this group. I'm assuming you'll be flying on him.
You. I would die for you. I would get struck by lightning for you.
That you shouldn't say that.
Fight me. Struck by lightning.
As you say, fight me here
You hear?
in the distance.
Wait for it. No.
Okay, audio gimmick has
There was
failed.
there was a
We will
flash
move
right
on.
as you said that, so I was like, "You hear?" And then there was nothing. I'm sad.
Thunder.
This is sad. Thunder. You hear thunder. Distant thunder.
Lightning and thunder.
Lightning me.
So Pollux ends up pairing you guys up. Luke, there we go. That's the name in my brain. Luke, he puts you onto what was the name of the horse? Oh yeah, Rosemary with Addie.
Okay. Am I on the front or am I on the back?
You are on the back.
Hey.
Cad, V is placed behind you on Summer, and Maya and Callie, you two are on a racer.
Racer.
So
Yeah.
it takes you guys a couple minutes to get up and onto each of your Pegasi. He's already tacked them all, so it's already ready to go. And as soon as each of you are kind of positioned, it's a little bit of a tight fit for some of you just because the saddles, while they are designed for two riders, it's still not the most comfortable thing.
I'm small.
Yeah, I feel like me and Via have doing it fine.
Yes,
Just fine.
you guys
I'm
are
gonna-
fine.
How am I with the horseman?
You guys are both relatively on there. You do feel like the back half of your butt coming off the saddle, but it's not like, I'm going to fall off. It's just not the most
Yeah, no.
comfortable thing.
I'm gonna kind of like lean down and kind of like straight the animal side and kind of try to like familiarize myself with the horse.
Me too.
Yeah.
Does it have cup holders?
There are no cup holders on the ride. You neither have games on your phone, nor do you have cup holders on your horse.
Disappointing.
I'll have to put a review on Yelp about my.
And Pollux goes through and takes off each of the guides from each of the Pegasi and hops onto Chestnut and begins to slowly trot out into the open paddock. Each of the horses behind him kind of give follow, and you guys, in order, kind of have to adjust to the rocking motion underneath you of these horses, or of these Pegasi. And it's not uncomfortable, but especially for you, Cad, it's very much like, oh, this is something I have to adjust to now. There is a moment of like,
sick.
yeah, it's your tummy's got to adjust for just a moment.
You need a little something to take the edge off.
Don't talk to me.
Okay.
V just opens a trench coat and there are like flasks.
There's just so many bits of alcohol. And for about the next like 15 minutes, Pollux leads you guys around the paddock just to kind of get you used to the feeling of the Pegasi underneath you. And even for the most unwilling of you, it comes pretty easily. You realize that you don't have to grab any amount of... There are no reins for you to grab. There are no backs to your boots to spur the Pegasi. They take care of pretty much all the direction on their own. These are intelligent creatures, as you've come to realize at this point. They move of their own accord. And you'll see Pollux occasionally lean down and like ask one of them to do something. He leans down. Summer, do you think you could move a little smoother, or Eraser to the left? And he just calls these things out to the Pegasi, who seem to understand him well enough. And after about 15 minutes of riding, he looks back at the six of you, his like pudgier face kind of moving with you guys. So do you guys want to try and fly?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Caddy? Or JD?
What, whatever. Yeah, let's get this over with.
All right. So I'm going to go up, and I'll already be up there. And your Pegasi are each going to follow me, okay? It's a little scary. I understand that. Just if you get scared, go ahead and tap your Pegasus on the shoulder. They'll bring you down. All right. All right, Chestnut, let's go. And he kind of like taps her hindquarters and just moves. And you see that the Pegasus, instead of, direct lift off, it begins to trot for a few meters and then run and sprint. And it extends both wings to probably about a 25 foot wingspan of these massive arcing white wings.
It's a fucking private jet just launches into the air.
Yeah. And you hear this guttural, just joyous laugh come out of Pollux as he leaves the ground.
Nice.
And after a moment, you guys each feel the Pegasi underneath you move and trot. And there's a lurch. Cad, you kind of close your eyes for half a second, just like, ooh. The rest of you watching, Callie, arms both above her head, ready to go.
Woo!
You all just... And it feels completely different to you have just been on the ground. It feels weightless. There is no lurching movement underneath you. Even though you can see these massive wings moving, the motion is so smooth that it feels like you're just sitting upon a completely still horse, if not for the wind pushing back your hair and honestly burning your eyes just a little bit. Luke, you feel this exhilaration that you didn't expect going into this. You knew this was going to be fun, but oh my god, this is your element. This is where you belong. And it goes for a few seconds of you all just gaining altitude, and you look down and suddenly you're 40, 50, 60, 100 feet in the air. You're over the tops of trees. Are you guys doing anything while you're in the air?
I will say that because Cadmus is so scared, V is actually kind of like pushing off his shoulders to kind of get like a higher vantage point and just kind of like look around over top of him.
At this point, you're standing in the stirrups. You're not even seated anymore, and you're just like looking over his shoulders, trying to see what's going on.
Cat is holding on for dear life, and his eyes are slammed shut.
I'm giving him like a comfort rub with one hand as I stand with all my weight on his other one.
I would like to kind of like run my fingers through Rosemary's mane gently. Like if there's like knots, then like I won't try to go all the way through. I just want to like pet
oh no,
her.
your fingers slide pretty smoothly through the hair of the Pegasus along their mane. These are well taken care of animals. They They get brushed daily. It's not soft because it is still that like thicker hair, but as you're moving in the breeze, the tactile sensation of the hair underneath you just is like the cherry on top.
Maya's just like shrieking with delight.
Luke
You guys
is
actually
doing
can
the
all
same.
hear this. Just like these like unintentional but so excited and exhilarated just shouts and screams coming from several of your friends. Being in the air is something completely different to anything you've ever tried before.
Mirroring her twin brother, Callie has her eyes closed, but it's just in pure happiness, and she has her arms outstretched, and she's like,
Harry Potter on the Hippogriff?
"This is it! Yeah!"
Yeah.
How high are we?
So cute.
V, how high are we?
V, from your perspective, you're maybe 150 feet off the ground.
About like 20 feet. You can probably.
Oh my god! No! That's not right. We're not meant to. No. If people were meant to fly, we'd have grown wings.
I'm sure that there's somebody in here that has wings. It's okay. Don't just feel the wind in your luscious locks.
Mm. Let me know when we're at the bottom.
Okay, big. Okay, big guy.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Addie.
my sound messed up for a second. That was really weird.
That's
That's
okay.
fine.
I just want to like check in with Luke behind me and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? This is nice, huh?"
This is amazing!
And I kind of like take a moment to appreciate how excited he is, because there's been a few things at camp that he like hasn't been so excited about, and so I just
He
kind
has
of like
a big old smile on his face.
I
Big
have that
loveliness.
moment to where I'm like, I'm happy that this is making him happy. And I go, woo!
Hey, Luke. Can you make me a strength save?
Oh my god.
Oh,
let me
God.
find my dice in the dark. Hold on. I was sat on my bed in the total darkness. Let me
I see
find
your
my
hand
dice.
bonds. I will totally come to you in just a moment.
Right, I've got to find my dice.
I don't
Music
like this
change.
change. Music.
I know what.
Hey, you know what?
I'm
While
putting
you're
the
figuring that
flash-
out, I'll do the thing with Maya real quick, and then we'll do the thing with Luke. Maya, what
Right,
were
I
you
haven't-
wanting?
I don't have access to my character sheet.
Oh, here, I've got
let's
access to your
see.
character sheet. Just tell me what you rolled.
Okay, cool. That's 11.
Okay, cool. So, I will do the thing with Maya real quick, and then we'll get to the thing I have planned with you.
So
Maya,
11 plus whatever I have, but yeah, I can't see that.
My kind of like has like just like her like hands just like loosely on Cal's shoulders, just kind of as a place to put her hands, and it kind of like leads to the side to kind of get closer to you. So, why is your brother so scared of horses?
It's a
I would-
long and complicated story of when we were children. We were raised by horses, and they were cruel parental figures. And this goes on until Cat stops.
so
I would like to put in, this would be
Yes.
the first time Cad has ever been near a horse.
yeah, Cad and Callie, you've never seen a horse before. Okay. So as this conversation is happening, Luke, based on your role, you're having this amazing moment. And it's just, you look up at the sky and you feel so free. Your arms are back. You're feeling the wind moving through your clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And for just a second, you forget about everything. There is only the wind in the sky. There is only flight. And you feel, Addie, you feel the weight behind you disappear for a hot second.
Oh!
As your legs come loose. And you, suddenly the direction of the wind changes. You were moving forwards, it was pushing against you. But then suddenly you feel this change in inertia in your stomach. And you go into free fall as you fall off of the horse.
Can I try to grab him?
You can. Make me a dex save.
Oh shit.
Whoopsie.
Please be good, please be good. Okay, 14.
14. You reach out, and for half a second, you have Luke's hand. And he looks at you, and you look at him, and his fingers just slide out of your grasp. Off by 1.
Oh god,
So Luke,
Addie's gonna, oh my god, freak out.
yeah, all of you now at this point can see Luke just
Am
starts
I
falling.
also able to try, or is that like a one
You are
person
not.
thing?
Yeah, you're not on his horse is the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to try to kind of like tap Rosemary on the shoulder and be like, I don't know if you can understand me, but can you catch him? He just fell.
So all of you at this point see a couple things happen at once. You are all looking around. Callie, you would actually be one of the first to see this because of how you're just kind of wildly going back and forth in the air. Callie and Cad, because they're at the front of their horses, see Luke just as the horse goes up, Luke begins to fall, and you see 2 different Pegasi, the one that he was on and Chestnut, both drop into a dive. Addie, that's you. Make me a strength check to hold on.
That bird's gonna fall off.
Oh god.
Hi!
14 again?
Okay, good to know.
Oh no.
So because
Oh.
this time your Pegasus is aware of what's going on, you do not fall.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to roll a couple of skill checks for the Pegasus and Pollux, the Pegasi and Pollux. So, with a 1, a 4, and a 2,
Oh fuck.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Ben's dead.
you guys see Luke just falling. Luke, you are free falling. You are just straight up.
So this is
going
the way
through the
you're
air.
killing me off, huh?
So you're. Yes, this is where I kill you. You are
Cool.
looking at the ground,
Zeus
and there's this
approved,
moment
apparently.
of like, you're scared for just a moment, but deep in your chest, this is just heights. This is nothing.
Yeah, I think he'd literally just like start falling back and be like, "Oh, I'm falling. This is bad," but actually, this doesn't feel so bad, huh?
Yeah.
And kind of like it's almost exhilarating, almost like it's a roller coaster, as he's just falling.
The ground is approaching 200 feet, 150 feet,
Okay,
100 feet.
can I do anything?
My
Are you gonna try something?
Screaming
Try
I
it.
don't want to criticize your
Yeah.
logic, but it's not the falling that's going to kill you, it's the ground.
Hey, Caddy, don't open your eyes!
As he kind of like sees this, almost like he's not thinking about it. Can he like just? I don't know. Can like he just has this like feeling of
Mhm.
just like feeling the wind around him. And can he just like try and almost just instinctively be like, oh, the ground's going up. I need to not hit the ground. Let's not do that. And just like
So-
try and I don't know.
That's been
exactly
heard.
He would do,
What
but
you're
almost
trying
just,
to
like,
say
almost
has been
think about
heard.
The fact that, yeah.
The rest of you, the 2 Pegasi go into a dive. They just fucking dart past you.
Maya is
Cad.
screaming Luke's name.
You hear, oh no, and then you hear near you Maya just scream, Luke!
He's going to
And-
open his eyes and...
You open your eyes for half a second to see Pollux, maybe 10 feet from you, on Chestnut, dive straight past you, and you look down, and you see the same jacket, arms spread eagle, falling through the air, and then you see both Pegasi pass Luke as he suddenly slows down midair.
Addie is screaming Luke as well.
And Luke remains motionless in the air, no longer falling.
What a...
Okay.
Because I'm giving you access to one of those first level abilities you have. Your fly speed of 10 feet is now unlocked.
Oh. Okay. So, as he's kind of like thinking about this, and he kind of like half, kind of like instinctively, but also half. I don't want to see the ground as like splat. He kind of like closes his eyes, and then he kind of like feels the wind just stop in his ears. Kind of opens them again, and he just. I imagine he'd just be like hanging upside down, just mid-air, just no longer falling. He's like, huh, this is new. Kind of like, kind of like tries to like flip himself
back the other way, so he's actually head up, and the blood isn't all going to his head.
Mhm.
And he realizes he's just floating in midair, and he kind of realizes he's half like telling himself not to fall, but he's not quite sure how he's doing it.
Mhm.
He's just gonna like look around at like everyone around him and like above him. He's gonna see how far up is everyone right now from me.
Pretty close. However, there's a couple other things happening at the same time.
Okay.
So, Addie, as you guys were on
Rosemary.
Rosemary, that's who you guys were on. As Rosemary goes by, there is immediate confusion as Rosemary passes Luke, and you look up and you see him hovering there for half a second, but then you look down and realize Rosemary, not prepared she was preparing for a different arc to make, is now confused. And you are now also hurtling to the ground because your Pegasi was thrown off its balance. But you take this moment as you're falling, and your hands move on their own. And you put your hands on either side of Rosemary's shoulders, and you feel this like pulse of magic pass through you. This want for the Pegasi to be heroic, to do what it needs to do. And you also have access to your first level spell abilities now.
Oh,
Which
that's heroism, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And Rosemary pulls out of her dive.
nice.
Wow. I take a moment to. First, I'm like registering that Luke is floating, and I'm like, what can't this kid do? And then like after I pat Rosemary, and I'm just like, good girl. That was good.
So the rest of you, before we move back, is anyone else doing anything in air now that you've seen the standstill begin to happen?
Is that everyone aside from me?
Everyone but you. We're coming back to you in a hot second.
Okay, cool.
Did he stop, or is that just the perspective?
Yeah,
Above.
he stopped.
Yeah, you two are. Those two Pegasi are circling above.
Callie's just gonna look down and just go, believe it or not, he's walking on air. Because she can't deal with serious situations without humor.
He's walking on air. This is more reason why he should be Twinkle Toes.
He said
Or
Sparky.
Fly
My boy!
Luke, as you're standing there, still kind of like adjusting to the fact that there is no solid ground underfoot, but you can feel this upward draft and pressure on you. You look down and you see that below you there are two Pegasi circling in the form of Chestnut and Rosemary. Pollux and Adeline, respectively, are on them and circling below you. But then you hear call-outs of "Fly boy!" from above you. As you see two Pegasi circling above you, everyone on them just yelling "Fly boy" at you.
Okay, so he for a moment doesn't realize that that's a nickname and that he thinks that that's an instruction.
Fly, boy.
Like they're telling, they're saying, "Fly boy."
Fly,
he's
you
like-
fools.
And for a moment, he like thinks about it. He's like, "Do they count?"
Oh,
Oh, did he lose his data?
No.
No! We've lost the Luke. This is so sad.
This is so sad.
I would tell my robotic unit to play a specific song in Spanish, but I can't say it, otherwise she'll do it.
Alexa, play Despacito.
gonna shout
like
it.
Despacito.
Alepta, Percy Jackson
Alexa.
theme song, please. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate that our cast members are now throwing off the Alexa units of every one of our audience members.
Alexa.
You're welcome.
Play
Alexa.
Party of the Caribbean.
Can you play the Parati of Caraboon's theme song, please? Thank you.
I love how it
Play.
actually works, too. Is Luke back?
I've trained my thing to say it.
No, I think we might have lost him for the night, unfortunately. Yep, I just saw a message in general. Yep, we've lost him.
Yep, he said hold on.
He's now worse than a Force Ghost because he can't even talk to us. Yep, there he goes. So yeah, for the audience, we just had a character in free fall. And by the way, I was rolling to see whether or not his powers would actually come into play or not, or if I would have to have Pollux try and save him. Luckily, I rolled really well on that because I never have scripted scenes. I just have like people can die.
Okay. People can die.
Like honestly, Addie could have died there.
Cool.
No!
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Time
That
for
is
me
what
to
it
get
is.
my 7th level abilities. Ooh.
Apparently power lines are down, not just his power.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Oh man.
That's
We
real
may
sad.
have to continue without Luke.
All right.
But I know.
Well, for now, we'll assume that Luke is not here. But yes, the rest of you,
Going to try to attempt to fly, like to control it.
I think he's going
Fly
to.
boy.
So for his ability, I'm gonna go ahead and let me double check the general chat. Hey, I'm gonna text him. Hey, what do you want to try to do? Question mark. Text RP, guys. Text RP.
Yeah.
I pick up the axe. You cannot pick up the axe. I step on the axe.
wants
You
to
cannot
fly
step
up.
on the axe.
Okay. So as you guys are all standing there, Luke, who in his hoodie, you see the wind flapping about him, still like not quite ready to move. He begins to rise very slowly. He's only moving at 10 feet per
I
round.
think Flyboy may have been a bit too generous.
But
Fly boy.
Hover boy.
he begins to like hover up towards you guys, and you feel this updraft of wind. At this point, Addie, Pollux is kind of like led Rosemary at this point, and you're both gaining altitude again, circling upwards. And you would hit there at about the same time. You're all now just circling Luke, who is flying, seemingly unassisted by any Pegasi.
I wonder if we can do that. Just move.
Don't,
Hell no.
please don't. I grab.
Sit down.
Do it.
I
Do it,
grab
coward.
her.
Do it. Bet you won't.
V, no.
Maya has moved her hairs to wrap around her waist so that she doesn't try to jump off.
So both
Yes,
of
you are very heavily grasped. Yeah, I guess you're like 40 pounds. You just go with her.
Oh, I guess. If we're gonna go down together, I guess.
As soon as he wraps around, I'm like, oh.
We
Uh,
together.
While this is not ideal, I guess we can continue from here. At this point, I believe Luke would go to the ground, and Pollux would kind of guide the rest of the Pegasi down.
Oh,
It takes a couple minutes, but Cad, right as like you're just like, oh, are we at the ground yet? You open your eyes just a little bit, just in time for the of the horse lurching onto the ground.
Yes.
Okay,
are
we did Pegasi, and everyone's gonna shut up about it now.
Let's do it again!
Again.
I think I understood what happened there. Zeus kid and Luke is kind of like doing the Luke thing of not paying attention to what people are saying and being in his own head. So we love Ben here. We love Ben so much. Ben is one of my favorite people. I feel like I should mention this here. And Luke, honestly, like, he's excited is what he looks like he's doing, but he's like kind of running his fingers through his hair, adjusting his jacket, just thinking about everything that's going on. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Generally, the Pegasi are a lot better about keeping people from falling.
Hmm?
But I think that might be enough for today. I don't think we should be riding anymore. I'll make Kyron aware that we almost had an accident, but
Oh, no,
I think-
we can't ride and
pretty
fly
cool
anymore?
accident.
No.
oh no, you'll be next week in this
Oh,
same.
you said it already. I'm walking away.
Like, I don't know why that took so long.
Oh,
Hey.
Hi. So what I had you do, Luke, is you
Wait, can
flew
you guys hear
up.
me now? Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. What the
So
fuck? I don't know why that
so-
wasn't working. That seemed to be a Discord issue rather than my phone or data or anything.
Yeah, Luke. So what I had your character do, and disagree with me if I did wrong,
I'm
because that's
so
fine.
mad. Right when I was having that moment, I'm so mad.
So I had your character fly up, and you kind of had this moment with the rest of the party. Then you came down because Pollux led y'all down, and then I assumed what Luke would do would take a lot of time and think about it to himself as people were trying to talk to him.
What are people currently trying to say to me?
Not much. There was a call out of like, "You're a Zeus kid," by Pollux, just because like he had already mentioned this, but it's like that's what happened there.
Yeah.
Everyone's freaking out because he's Luke Skywalker.
I
Yep.
hate it. I
Yep.
hate it.
Yep.
Nope, that is not my name.
Luke.
That's what Callie's
It
gonna
is
call
Luke.
you.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I am your father.
I am your
Okay,
son.
Luke
actually, you know
Air
what?
Strider.
You know what? Actually, you know what? When you say Luke Skywalker, he's like, you know what? Star Wars is cool. I'll go. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Hey,
Wolverine's
Luke.
better.
Hey, Luke. Gimme,
Yeah.
gimme.
All right. That's not.
You're like
That was-
if Luke
That was
Skywalker
kind of freaky.
and
I
Emperor
don't quite
Palpatine
know
had
how
a
I
love
did that.
child because you got the zappy hands as well.
Yeah, the spirit
no.
fingers.
No.
It's like a sci-fi movie. Luke.
I don't
Luke
know
is
how I did that, but that was cool. I don't
Can you
know
do
if
it
I
now?
can do that again.
Yeah,
Try.
fly-by.
Jump.
Again?
Jump real high.
Luke
Oh,
is
hey,
gonna-
Addie.
Luke is gonna jump.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
You jump and you begin to fly, but at this point in time,
Whoa!
so as you're like sitting there hovering, actually, Addie, I'll get to you in a second.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, no problem.
So, yeah, you jump and you are about 1.5 feet off the ground, and you feel the wind kind of like going down around you and coming back up to give enough of an updraft. It is
Yeah.
deafeningly loud, but you
Yeah.
are there. Your shirt kind of rides up. Your clothes all begin to flap a bunch.
Okay, he's gonna come back down. He's gonna be like, okay, so it's weird. It's not like it's kind of different to how you'd expect. It's like I'm not exactly flying. It's like the wind is like bending around me. Yeah.
So you're an airbender.
A what?
An airbender, like from Avatar.
I've never seen
Avatar.
that. Show.
Oh,
I'm making
Oh,
it
we
canon
gotta
that Luke hasn't seen it.
we gotta get
just like a
signal and.
Well, Luke hasn't seen it because Ben hasn't seen it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I figured. Oh, I shouldn't have said that in front of our audience. They're gonna crucify you.
He also hasn't seen Lord of the
Oops.
Rings.
Wow.
Oh.
Ooh, no need to call a man out like that.
Yes, there is
It's on
until
the
he
list.
sees it.
Yeah, there is. There is.
You didn't have to say it. You're not
So
wrong.
as people are watching Luke kind of trying to experiment with this wind walk ability, this sky walking ability, Addie, you feel like a hand on your shoulder, and you turn, and Pollux, who is a few inches shorter than you, despite being a couple years older than you. Good job with the horses today, or with the Pegasi today. I saw Rosemary had trouble with that dive. I don't know what you did, but you helped her out.
Really sure what I did either, but thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess this is, we'll see you next week. Oh, there it goes again. We'll see you next week, guys. Same time here, but for now, I guess, free period. I don't think we need any more flying after that.
If you say so.
Oh, you'll be in the air again next week.
Walking away as fast as you can.
JD, I'll get you in the air.
I can't hear you.
I'm
I'm
gonna
all the way
walk
over
up-
here.
What'd you say, Callie?
I'm gonna walk up to a racer. I just go really close to their ear. I just go, I love you. I'm coming back for you, and I'm taking you when we have to leave.
As you like lean in, you say these things, and then you hear, and you pull your head away, and there's just a tug as is chewing on your hair, hurts a little bit.
Okay, bye! And I pull up.
Is anyone else doing anything?
I would like to go back up to Rosemary and kind of place my hand in the spot where they like ask us to, and just like thank her for letting me ride her today.
She does this
I am
thing
back. Hello.
as you like put your hand on her head. She kind of like puts up her jaw and just does this thing that horses do, where she takes her lips and begins to like gum at your hand, but doesn't use the teeth, just gums with the lips.
For a second, Addie's not sure whether she likes it or it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is good."
Yeah, and Maya had something as well.
Maya's just kind of like gonna like pet Eraser as well, and thank them for the ride.
Mm-hmm. As you kind of walk up, you see that like you walk up right as Callie is getting hair chewed on, and Eraser is not letting go.
Yay!
Can you let go, please?
I'm
Please?
fine right here.
V, did you have anything before we left?
No, we'll probably just give Summer a nice little rub on the back and just be on our way.
All right, Luke, anything before we wanted to leave?
Yes. So just going back a little bit is just because my internet cut out when I would have done it. But in that moment where like Luke is like looking up at everyone, before like he flies up, you kind of like would see like all the Pegasi like flying above him and stuff like that, and he would think back to an old memory of a few years ago, when he was back in LA and just watching a time when he was watching a thunderstorm, and he wasn't sure what it was at the time, but realizes now what it must be. The time he must have seen a Pegasus flying through the sky, and he realized, he only clicks like now, he like that memory just comes back to him, and he's like, so that's what that was. This is a very like fond memory that's kind of always been in his mind, and he's always wondered what it meant, and if he'd really like seen something, or if he was just seeing things. And yeah, he kind of just has that moment of just like, they have been around. I have seen them before.
Yeah, this is a familiar sight from your childhood.
Yeah, just something he'd seen before. But yeah, like in this moment, yeah, he'd kind of like thank the horse, be like, that was amazing. Sorry, I got a bit carried away and fell off. I'll try not to do that next time.
I mean, I'm just glad that you're okay, but that was awesome.
Yeah, it felt pretty awesome, not gonna lie.
It was terrifying, but then once I realized that, like, what you were doing, then it was awesome. You know, like,
yeah,
there was that
where I
moment.
thought I was gonna go splat and that was gonna be it, but like...
But I'm glad
Yeah.
it's not. That's a
After
cool
that
thing.
moment, it was great.
Yeah.
Remember, kids, it's always cool to not die.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Sorry.
And that's
to,
what we stand
sorry
for
to-
here.
Hydrate,
Sorry
don't
to-
hydrate.
Sorry to scare you like that. I didn't mean to. Yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm just glad you're okay.
Yeah. I am glad to be okay too.
And I'm glad that you guys didn't get struck by lightning.
Yeah. See, me
So
talking to Dad.
That would have been a
Totally
real
worked.
bummer.
He
Cat's
totally
gone.
listened to me. Totally
Yeah,
not.
it's just gone.
Yep.
Cat has already walked well away from this.
Luke just turns around saying this and is like, oh, he's gone.
yeah, he doesn't like horses. We grew up in the city. Horses. All the while, the horse is still chewing her hair, and she's like, "Oh, we see him a lot."
Seems to like you.
Yeah.
I bond very well with things that go fast and also fly. I just hold, like, point to the skateboard.
Okay, so after you guys wrap things
Pegasus
up
riding, just like riding a skateboard.
at the Pegasus stables, you finish your Pegasus lessons, you go to lunch, you have these moments. And for the audience, to make the audience aware, I gave our party members a week of downtime. And we can talk about what happened in that downtime right now, because fuck it, why not?
Yes.
So, one thing that took place as our lovely Birdie is miming is we did the climbing wall, in which Cad set the new record on the climbing wall. Let's see here. That was pretty fun. I say. We definitely did that and didn't just think of that as a scene 5 minutes before the show went live.
Well, we were going to do it, but then we didn't get time.
The ladies, all of the ladies of the group went on Girls with Bows. They all did archery together.
Yes.
And they all picked up proficiency in longbows, if I'm correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
there were a lot of nat 20s thrown around for that stuff.
And it was discussed that V might be a child of Apollo.
That's right.
Yeah, V is definitely a child of Apollo based off how talented at archery she is. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so
MVP.
yeah, you guys had a great time. Kyron was their instructor. That was awesome. Addie, Maya, you two got to go do sculpting together.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was a lot of fun. You guys went and made your own little marble statues, which turned out better than you thought.
Yeah.
Maya made a quokka.
I made a dog. It
There was a cat.
was a cat.
It was a cat.
You're right. It was a cat. It was a
quokka
cute
and a
cat too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, after the sandblasting portion of it, it was cute. Before that, it kind of had like a jaw issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Luke and Addie went and did blacksmithing. That was fun. A lot of people attended knowledge classes, which was cool.
Addie found out that there is a it's called a celestial celestial like
Bronze.
wash or something that celestial bronze that can make her sword rose gold. So we're aiming for that if there's enough time.
Yeah, you guys, assuming you have a couple more weeks to finish forging out your knife, you will totally be able to have a rose gold celestial bronze blade.
Right.
Assuming nothing happens within the next like week that stops you from going to lessons.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. We had several people attended different classes. So some people, Addie, Luke, and Callie, you four went and attended a class on monsters and just generally things to look out about. So that's going to be something you need to write down somewhere when you're fighting a monster and remind me of this. Because it'll give you guys a little bit more of an ability to check out what monsters are. Maybe you heard about it in your classes.
Okay. Can someone write that down for me? Because
I will.
I'm putting it in my other proficiencies and languages.
Yeah, just
Sounds
like
good.
write it down for me. Just as, like DM it to me maybe, and just like
I got
like,
you.
have this, so you can write it. I can write it when I have access to my PC again.
Cad, V, Maya, and Luke, you four went and took a class on basic field medicine, and ended up and each of you gained proficiency in medicine kits.
I already had that.
Ooh.
Well,
and
that's
medicine
unfortunate.
kits. Okay.
Yeah, not the skill, but the kit. You know how to
Someone
apply
could DM that to
basic.
me again. That'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, Luke, just assume, or Ben, just assume everything here will be DM'd later.
Cool.
Let's see here. And then the last class was specifically Cad and Luke. No one else attended this class. It was a guy's day. You guys went and took a class on tactics.
My dyslexia, I thought it was a class about Tic Tacs.
I thought it was TikToks. Okay. And yeah, you guys have went and studied some basic knowledge of different maneuvers with which to fight, and might have a little bit of an advantage on not getting ambushed. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but that was pretty much our downtime activities. We didn't do a whole lot during that like
Sword
midweek.
fighting. You forgot about sword fighting.
Well, you know, we didn't. We technically haven't done the sword fighting yet.
Haven't done the scene yet.
Oh.
We haven't done the scene yet because we were doing it in our spare time. But honestly, like,
True.
okay, so I got
Who went
like
to that? I
two
can't
more.
remember.
It was just V, Cad, and Luke.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just remembered I have a thing I want to do before we end off, because I was like kind of just going through the downtime to be like, hey, here's all the things we did, and then we'll come back. But I know what I want to do before we do that. On the last day, on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Friday morning is when you guys did the sword fighting thing, and we'll talk about that later. Kyron ends up calling dinner a little bit early that night. Instead of at 5 o'clock, which it normally is, it gets called around 4:30. And you see that the tables are all set up the way that they should be. They're all set up with each cabin going to their own specific table. But at the head table, where Kyron sits, there is another person. Where Kyron and Mr. D sit and the satyrs sit, there is another person sat off to Kyron's left. And it's and as you all come to dinner, you sit down at your respective tables, because at this point you've had a talking to about sitting at tables that you have been sorted into. At this point over the week, would the general population of campers know about you being Hades kids?
I feel like if people would have seen us sleeping in the cabin, that would have eventually got around.
Then at this point you will have to be at the Hades table.
Maya and I are at our respective tables, or not yet?
Not yet. You two are still unclaimed.
Yeah.
As like the days go by,
Gang, gang.
like kind of getting a little bit more like put out and kind of just like looking a little bit more down.
Callie, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna say that every single day, Callie's just gonna sit at the unclaimed table until Chiron comes over and is like,
absolutely,
you need to move.
And he has already done this at this
Tad would
point.
do the same.
Multiple times.
Yes,
Still
this is
gonna-
like the 4th day straight of like, you need to go sit at your table.
And it's like the slowest migration over. Like, oh wow! Oh, I dropped my skateboard at the other table. Gotta go back and get it, right, cat?
Yeah, Adeline is sitting. Yeah, no, Hannah entered the game, became a child of a god.
Yeah.
Addie is sitting with the Aphrodite table at this point. Things have not particularly improved there, but Mitchell is nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit next to Mitchell for sure.
Yeah. And as you all kind of bring in your rows and you sit down at your tables, you see this guest at the table.
Sorry, I was distracted for a second. Can I do something?
Sure. What are you wanting to do?
I just wanted to say, I was gonna say it, but I just got distracted because fly flew in my face. I had to deal with it. It's a moth, actually. I had my torch on and it just flew straight into it. I was like, Jesus Christ! But yeah, with the whole kind of like sitting at tables thing, Luke's gonna kind of continue to kind of like Callie, kind of just like go to like do his offering, but kind of float for a while. And then when he sees like Karen come over, he'll be like, "Yep, moving on now," and kind of just go and do his thing.
I assume you mean like floating as in like just standing near the table, not literally floating, which you can now do now. Okay. Just making sure.
Cross-legged like a Buddhist monk.
Like I am God. No.
I'm just saying, if I ever got the ability to fly, I'm never walking again.
I would totally do that.
Never walking.
I would flex on people 24/7 that I can.
I'm gonna be Essek from Crit Roll and just float everywhere.
Yes.
He's literally just gonna like he'll like as normal, kind of as meals start, go sit down at his table, kind of wait for like the right time, then kind of walk over and kind of just stand around by the table and talk to V, Callie, and Maya, and just like make sure like see how they're doing and just like chat and stuff. And then like as Karen comes over to kind of tell us to move along, kind of he'll see him coming and kind of just like go to do his offering and then go back to his table and just like
Okay. So that's something I take note of. Good to know. Yeah, and you all kind of clear in your rows, sitting at your tables. Maya would be probably the first one to notice that there's a guest. Maya, you look up and you see sitting next to Kyron, there is a girl maybe 4 years older than you, 4 years older than you, sitting at the table to Kyron's left. Splash of freckles across the face, curly red hair, wearing choiceably like a purposefully ripped t-shirt with different rips going down the sides of it. You can see her legs kind of poking out the edge of the table. She's wearing jeans that are covered in splashes of paint and doodles. You see this girl who's kind of just watching everybody as they're walking in, and then she looks at you, and it's just a sudden head turn of just making sudden eye contact, and you see her eyes kind of unfocused for a second as if she's listening to something, and then look back and just kind of smile and wave. And you guys sit down for dinner that night. And Kyron stands up.
Yep.
Hello, campers. I've called dinner a bit early today because we have a guest returning with us. We have Miss Rachel Elizabeth Dare, the Oracle. Yes, Callie.
No, I'm just excited.
Okay.
Yup, same. That's dope.
And she will be joining us tonight and joining as a spectator for tonight's Capture the Flag.
Yeah!
Of which
I must impress her.
teams have already been created. But she will be joining us for the foreseeable future. You will not be returning for... And she's going to look down and she'll be like, 2 weeks. I'll be here for 2 weeks. Then I have to go back to school.
And the mic is like, no, Aaron.
Here. Okay. However, campers, I hope everyone is ready for tonight's game of Capture the Flag. The teams are interesting this week. I believe currently in charge of the laurels are the Athena cabin, and he points to, this very athletic blonde set of children that you've all had a chance to see at this point, led by a sandy-haired guy with shorter hair, maybe like 15. And after his announcement, Kyron steps back at the table, and you're free to eat dinner and kind of think about what's going to be happening next. As you know, Capture the Flag is coming up. Yes, Addie.
Just while we're eating, I ask Mitchell a bunch of questions about Capture the Flag and if there's an opt-out if I already got my PE credit at school, and just silly questions like that because I don't like running.
So I don't choose to play most times because you can sit to the side. But if you sit to the side too often, even we have to fight sometimes because whoever wins gets to choose when people get to use certain activities first or the best slots for all their, for all the things that they do. So sometimes I think we're supposed to actually be properly fighting today, though. I always hate when I get the blood under my nails. It's really hard to clean out.
Even with the blessing thing?
Oh, that only lasts maybe a week. That should be going away soon.
No! You're kidding.
I already threw out all my makeup.
No, literally,
Just start doing it.
As you say that with the D20 that I just rolled, as you say that with the D20 I just rolled, you look down at your hand and you have one chipped nail.
I'm crying. Not ugly crying. Not ugly crying, but the tears are in my eyes, and I just I'm trying not to freak out. Let's see. Okay, alright, okay. I rolled a 15. I don't audibly freak out and bring a bunch of attention to myself, but I'm just I didn't know it wasn't gonna last forever. I would have brought my nail polish. And I just keep looking at it, and I keep stroking the chip, kind of hoping that it'll go back to how it was. And
Is anyone else?
I'm just really sad.
I think of the other people who would notice this, the closest tables would be the Hades table and the Unclaimed table.
Callie's gonna go into her coat pocket and pull out a black nail polish and go, yeah. They're just gonna lightly boo.
And that makes me smile.
Okay, so you said you tossed it, right, Callie?
Oh no.
Tossed it like a bacon.
Yeah, you tossed it, and Addie, very simply enough, you kind of catch it, looking at your chipped nail, but you still caught it. I rolled really high on the chance that it wouldn't hit someone else.
Booth.
Just aiming for Drew.
Oh my god.
I like to think you pretend like you're gonna toss it and then you just baseball pitch it directly into his face.
It's like haiku. I'm like, poof.
Does anyone else want to do anything? Because we're just kind of buying time at this point.
Maya's just idly doodling as she normally does during meal times.
Yes, Maya is doing that. Okay, I can use this.
No!
As just before you go into that, Luke is also kind of doing his regular kind of standing near the table thing, just waiting to be told to move on.
Quiet, edgy, and brooding.
Aaron led me into a false sense
Well, no,
of security because that hadn't happened in ages.
Just quiet, not edgy or brooding. He's just like he's
Okay.
just with Maya, just like
Okay.
not wanting to be by himself. So he's probably just like watching her doodle, I guess.
Mhm.
Cad is going over everything he learnt in sword fighting today, just miming the movements with the knife in his hand instead of actually eating. He's just like...
Just got a little
You're
kitchen
sitting
knife
there.
and he's just
You've got-
like...
Yeah, you've got
Not
your
a
little
kitchen
steak knife and you're moving
dining
around.
knife, where everything is food.
Yeah.
Just kind of like,
And you
Butter knife,
you go for a
that's the
thrust,
best.
which is very not Grecian, but as you go, but it's something you've seen in movies, so you go for it, and you just skewer the end of your sausage from dinner on the end of your knife.
success.
Yeah, you feel pretty good.
As soon as you do that, I'm gonna go.
I know, you're dead.
And then
What are you gonna do when I actually kill one of you?
Cry, probably a lot.
V,
And then immediately
are you
get
doing anything?
myself killed.
V has been noticeably all day on Friday and probably half the day on Thursday very silent and has been slipping alcohol into every beverage she's drinking out of one of her many flasks,
Oh no.
including at dinner. Do I need to make a stealth roll?
No, not at all. You have this down to a science. You don't have to make a roll for this.
I know.
You have a whole system where you like put it in your sleeve and then you like hold your cup a specific way and then just tilt it forward and it goes in and then you can drink.
We've all done that
yeah.
at clubs, right?
At some point, you know. Hey, the drinking age in America is 21. You
I'm
know,
21.
so we had to struggle for. No, I'm saying we had to struggle for a few years longer than the Brits.
Yeah.
Wait, V can just make wine, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, but like
So-
that's not nearly as
so-
fun.
Well, what V can do then? Just be like, oh
Makes
yes,
a
this is a
gallon of
completely normal
vodka.
drink, and as she's drinking it, transform it as she's drinking.
But it's more fun to do.
Yeah, it's more fun to have the trick.
Fair enough.
Christians have a guy that can do this in reverse.
That's the best joke in the entire series, book or movie. Straight up, best joke.
Wait, which one?
It's the Dionysus joke from the second movie. The one where the Christians have a guy who can turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Maya, you pull out your book, and you begin to sketch. Right?
False sense of security.
False sense of security. This one's actually not that bad because you don't. Now that you know her name, Rachel, you feel like you've made a new friend from that momentary smile, from that interaction you've had. And her smile is something that you really enjoyed. It was something you really connected with. And the freckles on her nose, she seems like somebody you could really learn to be friends with. So you're like, okay. And you sit down and you begin to draw her. You draw the little curls, taking time to move through each loop of her red hair. You spatter the freckles across her face, and you make this very great portraiture of her. And as you're drawing, like so many of your significant drawings do, because you do still have your mundane drawings, the drawings that are just drawings. But there's this feeling that takes over whenever you start drawing very specific things. And you take your pencil back and you outline the loops of her hair again and erase a circle underneath that was her chin. And suddenly what you've drawn is no longer Rachel's hair or her face. Each of the loops becomes thicker, and you begin to sketch lines across them. And you see a nest of snakes instead of hair. This drawing has completely changed the focus, no longer on Rachel. That was your thought process, but you're looking deeper. And you see these wrapping tendrils and moving bodies of snakes all wrapped together. and they're coiling, and you take your pencil, and along the edge of the paper, you draw one larger, greater entity that you can only make out the edges of. You've barely drawn them on maybe 1.5 inches of the paper, but your fingers fill in scales. One greater snake wrapping around a lot of smaller ones. And as you draw it, another piece peeks into the painting, or into the drawing. You see wings. Large, scaly, reptilian wings covering the entirety of the photograph. The snake's bed no longer present. All you see now is the back of a large snake, barely edging. Maybe it's where its shoulder equivalent would be leading up through its neck, and a large wing covering the rest of the drawing.
She's going to... So is V and Luke still near me?
Yes,
V is sitting next to you.
below
Luke
your
is-
shoulder.
Yeah, still standing kind of awkwardly
Yes.
near the table, because he's not
And-
allowed to sit there.
And V is not paying attention.
Yeah, V is drinking.
Okay. Good. She's like, once she's realized what she's doing, she's quickly gonna tear the page out and just scrunch it up and put it in her pocket.
Okay. Luke, what you've seen from your perspective is, because when Maya is very into her work, she's very right here. She's very
Mhm.
here. So what
Yep.
you've seen is you saw Maya take out a pencil, very happy, begin to draw something. Something happened between that and the end of the drawing, to where she looks at it, frowns with this like uneasy look, rips it out, crumples it, tosses it in her pocket, puts her journal away.
Can I make a perception check to see if I see some of it?
Sure.
Cool, let me find my dice again. Also, you will need to check my stats.
Yep.
D20, I kept it out. Ooh, that's a 19.
19. So you managed to see the head of a bunch of snakes at one point when she kind of like dips in his drawing with a lot of detail. You see a large writhing mass of snakes, but that's the only part of the drawing you saw, and that was the midsection. So you're not sure because you saw her erase a lot after that point.
Right. I am also aware that Maya doesn't like snakes, so the fact that she's drawing them is a little weird. But yeah, I'll kind of like see Maya rip the page out and kind of pocket it and kind of look a little like shaken by what she's drawing. Be like, are you okay? Why did you rip that up? That was
I didn't like how it looked, just
you were
it
drawing
looked
snakes.
bad.
Thought you didn't like snakes.
I don't. Anyway, you should probably go sit at your table before Karen does his rounds again.
Luke kind of like realizes that she's kind of telling him to like go away and not push the subject. And he's gonna kind of like look around, see that Kyron's nowhere near, just kind of, but like respectfully kind of understand that like she's doesn't want to talk about it. He's like, okay, well, if you need to talk about it, you know where to find me. Okay? And he's gonna,
Of course.
gonna give her a, put a hand on her shoulder and kind of, squeeze her shoulder and then just continue over to the fire, do his offering, and then go and sit down again at his table. Occasionally
Okay.
kind of looking over to, like, make sure she's okay.
Okay.
Luke has
Is anyone
big
else-
brother syndrome.
Doing anything before we end off for the night? Because we're going to be going directly into Capture the Flag with next session.
Woo!
Calliope would like to kill a man.
Yes, Addie.
Addie, in the time that she's been staying at the cabin, is kind of going to reflect and be like, I'm kind of tired of having this tension with someone I'm sharing a cabin with. So she's gonna start being really nice to Drew. Not like actively seeking conversation, but like smiling at her and like making eye contact to be like hi, and just being like not overly nice to where it's not genuine, but just decide for herself that like being continuously like standoffish because that's how she is towards me is not the answer, and I want to be the bigger person.
High roading.
Okay.
That's gonna drive her nuts. Good call.
I know.
It's gonna be so angering. Okay, when did she start doing this in the midweek, or are you saying she's starting this now?
I would say she probably thought of that before she went to bed last night. Because like throughout the cabin, like throughout the week, she was probably like snuffed or ignored continuously and not like acknowledged, and so she's just like, you know, I'm kind of tired of that. I'm just gonna start just like trying to be nice.
All right, good to know. That's noted. All right, and if no one else has anything, I think that's where we're gonna end it off for the night. Oh, and Callie has something. Callie has something. Sorry, I just saw your hand.
Literally, it's just every night Calliope is putting notes up in the window.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can Addie find paper pretty easily?
Yeah. You guys can get that figured out in the midweek and have the ability to do notes.
Okay, I'm going to. I think I cut out there for a second. I'm sorry. I'm going to.
I had that as well. I think it was Aaron.
Okay, I'm going to try to find paper so that I can send notes to Cal as well, like throughout.
Yeah, we can say across the midweek you have on your list of things that you sent the satyrs to go get, they also got you a large package of paper and several magic markers.
Awesome.
And you guys have been able to pass notes through the windows.
So just
yeah,
like a really
non-toxic.
Awesome.
Really quick thing, just like a really minor thing that Maya wanted to do throughout the week. She wanted to make 5 drawings, all exactly the same, and I kind of want to do a portrait of everyone on the Pegasi and hand them out to everyone.
Oh, that's awesome.
How freaked
yes, you
out
can
does Cal
absolutely
look
do
in
that.
the picture?
She actually makes an effort to make him look really calm and heroic and just like, not like enjoying himself, but like just calm and stoic.
Cat appreciates it, but Bertie's disappointed.
I imagine it's just him looking terrified, but then you've just put a smile on it instead.
Like his eyes are huge, but he's like.
You know that emoji of the smiley face, but it's upside down. So it's actually a frowny face.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's that.
Love it.
All right.
Awesome.
Anyone else have anything? All right. I think that's where we're gonna end it off then.
He's gonna put his drawing up in the Zeus cabin. It's a tiny bit of decoration in this huge room.
Little bit. It fits between 2 statues pretty well.
Heck yeah. He does that.
Adorable.
Then that is where we're going to end it off for the night. There we go. We found it. Hi. This was probably our least productive, but just kind of getting back into things session we've ever had, and I'm okay with that.
Sorry I kept having internet issues.
That's totally fine.
Listen, we did something more than look around some cabins. I think we did okay.
That is so valid. Oh, you're so valid. That. All right. I love everyone in the audience, but we are going to call it there. So... bye, guys. We'll see you maybe next week, hopefully, assuming we can be consistent someday.
We're gonna play again 2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
2 weeks in a row. That's the goal. Bye-bye.